Tiny claws on the tabletop, steel glint in his hungry eyes. Little king of the parking lot, dragging home another prize. Tactical tail twitching fast. He's got clips on every branch. If it flips, if it locks, if it lasts. He's the rodent of the EDC clan. Hey! He's the EDC Squirrel, stash in the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the curb to the cul-de-sac ruts. Sharpen your wits and protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Tiny terror in the tree line cuts. He'll drop from a power line, show you what's right in his hip. Thumb, stud, flip off, front flick, spine. He lives for that perfect click. Spreading word to the backyard crew. Check this edge, feel that grind. Every acorn, every review, carved with a steel-toothed mind. Whoa! He's the EDC Squirrel, stash in the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the curb to the cul-de-sac ruts. Sharpen your wits and protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Tiny terror in the tree line cuts. Climb high, tree line thrown in the storm. Cold bite, metal heart staying warm. If you mess with his tribe or his hut, you'll hear one battle cry roar from the brush. Hey! 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 Protector! Protector! Protect your nuts! Hey! Protect your nuts! He's the EDC Squirrel, stash in the bark. Blade in the daylight, blade in the dark. From the mail call crate to the gutter front ruts. Sharpen your wits and protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Protect your nuts. Little legend with the pocket cut guts.
Hey, it's the EDC Squirrel. Hello, another Saturday, and for another Saturday chat. It's been a while. It's been the last few weeks have been pretty busy. It's been pretty crazy, so I haven't been able to do much with the channel these last few weeks as I would have hoped. Mainly to work and not a little bit to some financial stuff that I had to deal with and take care of, and just kind of brought things a little. It slowed things down a lot. Let's just put it that way. It slowed things down a lot, but I'm getting things cleared up and able to start devoting some more time again to the channel. I don't want this channel to die. I do want to keep it going, mainly because it's fun for me. I just enjoy doing it. I don't have any other real goal on this channel other than just wanting to continue to meet people with a similar hobby, chat with people about pocket knives, about the hobby of collecting pocket knives, and sharing information. Because like I said before, doing this channel is a hobby in itself, and I've learned more about pocket knives, about my own hobby in the short time that I've been doing this live stream than I ever have in just before having done the stream, collecting on my own. And I just really enjoy doing it. So that's my real intent and real goal behind this, is just to keep it running because I just enjoy doing it. As simple as that. So that being said, because of having to catch up with some financial stuff and work being busy and other things being busy, I don't really have any new knives to show this weekend. But I do have a bunch of stuff coming in next weekend. I just didn't make it in time for this live stream. But I do have some new stuff coming in next week to show and then share and then talk about. So what am I doing for this Saturday is basically answering questions that people have asked me in the past. Now, I don't have any of those questions themselves clipped or anything like that. I'm just going over what I know people have asked, either in comments or just a lot of them actually face-to-face people that I know that I like to collect and stuff like that. So I'll be answering those questions today. If you guys have questions of your own, feel free and ask. A lot of the questions that I've had are in regards to things like what are patterns, what are profiles when it comes to pocket knives and things like that. And that's a lot to answer, depending on like whether we're looking at traditional knives, whether we're looking at modern knives and stuff like that. Other things that people have asked me in the past also, how do I choose a certain knife? Or they might have a couple knives, one or another, like which one's going to be best fit for what I like to do, or for my needs. And a lot of that is very personal stuff in terms of it's very specific to the end user, and I can do my best to help them make the best decision. I'm just pulling out some knives for shites and giggles. Excuse me. And that's what I intend to do today. So this Saturday of Knife Chat is literally going to be a lot of chat about pocket knives and what might best fit me. How did some of the wordage used in the pocket knife, collecting hobby and things like that. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a drink, maybe a snack, and we'll get started in just a little bit. In fact, I'm working on my coffee as well. So give me a moment. Okay. So actually just getting started. I had a late morning, so just sort of still getting things started. And the guys caught me in the middle of, I know I had the start thing going, but sort of caught me in the middle of still getting prepared. So that's what I'm kind of doing now, is still getting things prepared and putting things out. Actually, let's do these. I'm trying to get some examples out, different profiles and things like that to talk about, because that's where a lot of the questions were about. All right. But again, like I said, just getting ready. But again, if you're new here, my name is the EDC Squirrel. And good God, have I been doing this for almost a year on this channel now? Good grief. It's been about a year. I've acquired a lot in the year. Oh God, my collection has blown up something crazy. And wow, I have this camera zoomed up like nuts. What was I doing? Let me push this back a little bit. See if we can't fix this a little. Got a little bit more table space. There we go. Jeff! Oh my God, Jeff Gage. How are you doing? How many knives do I have in my collection? I might have been able to answer that at some point. I used to have a spreadsheet. I've been working on a spreadsheet. A friend of mine made me a spreadsheet some time ago. And anytime I got a new knife, I would add to the spreadsheet. But it's been either I would get an influx of knives and then things would get busy and then I'd put it off and then I would hope to catch up. I think when I last edited anything to the spreadsheet, I was just maybe under 400. I can tell you right now, I'm roughly between 450 to 500 knives in my collection, mainly because I don't really sell anything. I collect because I enjoy collecting. I don't collect to, like, my intention is not to make money. I collect pocket knives for the sheer enjoyment of collecting pocket knives. I don't, in other words, monetary value doesn't mean anything to me other than, can I afford it? that's the only real, that's the only thing when it comes to money is like, can I afford it? Is it within my budget? I don't look at a knife and go, how much can I get for it? Now, that I'm going to leave to whomever I leave my knives to, which is going to be a majority of my, my daughter, majority of my family, things like that. That if that's something they want to do, that's up to them. That's fine. For me, it's the enjoyment of collecting and having some unique stuff. I just like knives. This channel could have actually gone a completely different way, because my first intention, actually, when I wanted to do a new channel, because I have a video game channel. That's my bigger channel. That I do that one every night. This knife channel I decided to start as a hobby, about a hobby, mainly to meet people like you, Jeff, and just talk to people and chat with people who share the same interest. And I don't know if you caught it before, but I've learned more in this year, because I think it's been about a year now. I've learned more in this year about collecting knives than I have in all the years that I've been collecting knives, and I've been collecting knives for a good many years. It's also exploded. I've collected more knives within this year than I have in any other year. But I guess that goes with the territory when you start opening a channel. I've been collecting knives for many years. But at the start of this channel, my collection exploded, and also my knowledge exploded too. Like I said, I think it was one of the greatest things when it came to learning about knives, was actually starting this channel. And I am by no means an expert. I'm just a collector. I just enjoy sharing. I enjoy talking and sharing information that I know, and also learning from everybody else that I meet, because everybody's got new information. I'm learning something new nearly every day, which is awesome. But yeah, about between 400 or roughly, I'm just going to say roughly around 450 knives, if not near the 500 knife mark. It's got to the point of where they're kind of spilling out everywhere. I mean, I've got like 20 or 30 knives sitting on top of my desk in leather slips. I've got shoe boxes of knives. I've got knife cases of different sizes, like this here where I carry. This one happens to be a Casematics. This is one of the smaller ones. I've got one that holds like a different brand that holds like 90 some odd knives, and 2 medium-sized ones. I need more hard cases like that. You just started collecting a year ago, and I know you've been collecting a lot of traditional styled knives, which I've been doing a lot of collecting myself. I have like this newfound love for traditional knives. And actually, the traditional knife thing started about when I started my channel. Most of the knives that I generally collect and still collect, I haven't stopped, are modern styled knives. But that's what made up the majority of my collection before I started this channel. Now it's kind of about nearly 50-50 in terms of like traditional styled knives and modern knives. So I've just fallen in love with so many. In fact, a lot of the times I get new knives to show you guys on this channel during the live every week is usually a new traditional knife, and they tend to they've been outnumbering the modern knives when I've been showing them. Although I do have some really neat stuff coming in next week. I don't have anything new for this week because nothing's come in. I've had to put a kibosh on my spending to take care of some stuff, but I've got some new stuff coming up next week. So I'm really excited for next week's show. I'm really doing this show mainly to chat, mainly to keep the channel live, because I don't want this channel to end. I enjoy doing it. I just haven't been able to do a lot with the channel the last couple of weeks. Normally I'll put out videos and then I'll have a Saturday chat. I didn't do a Saturday chat last week, and I haven't put like a video out in the last 2 weeks because it's been so busy. No, these cases are great. The Casematics, they can be a little expensive depending on which brand you go. The Casematics are all right. I do like them. They have a really soft foam though, so if you get one of these, you kind of want to store them flat. You never want to store them like on the feet here. They have feet, but you want to store them flat because the foam inside tends to be kind of soft, and if you don't store them flat, they will eventually like sort of like deform. They'll like start doing this thing if you store them upwards, because of the weight of the knives. So I keep mine flat. I've got another case that has a much stiffer foam that I could store on its side if I want to without much difficulty. I do like the soft. I don't know. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I guess I prefer the harder foam simply because I can store it in different ways, where these kind of need to be stored flat. But I think I have a link to the Casematics. Yeah, I should have a link to the Casematics in the description below if you want to take a look at it. I got mine from Amazon, and they've got various sizes. CMO, how you doing? You really just started collecting a couple months ago. You have about 25, so you're really new to this. Awesome. You have any questions, ask me. Again, I'll be the first to say I am not an expert. I am far from an expert. I do dive into a lot of rabbit holes, and I've learned a lot since my time doing this stream. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I'm happy to share what knowledge I do have. And like, what kind of knives do you collect, CMO? I divide knives up into two different categories, and then they get divided up from there eventually. But the two main categories are modern knives, which are like modern folders. Like now this is an older model. Well, this is not an older model. This is actually a new model of an older model. This is an Ontario Rat. This design's been out for a long time, but it's a modern folder because they have generally more modern materials like steels. In this case, I believe this is at a G10 scales. Scales being a part of the handle that you kind of grip onto. We have a metal liner here, and the scales refer to this G10 material that's attached to the liner. Andrew Demko. Another modern knife, this one with a different type of locking system. These are modern knives over here. And traditional style knives are the two categories that I kind of divide everything up to. This is just a small sample of some traditional knives. Traditional knives are what a lot of people call also affectionately grandpa knives. For the most part, not all of them, but a majority of them tend to be slip joint knives, meaning the blades do not lock in place. They have a spring back here, and they will snap open and also snap closed. A lot of times the materials they use, you got bone, you got synthetic like this is. But for the most part, they tend to be slip joint knives. They're grandpa knives because they're the knives that everybody's grandpa used to own. I call them traditional knives. A lot of them will have multiple blades. Like one of the most well-known is the Trapper. This has two different blades that fold out. This one just happens to have a clip to it, so you can hang it into your pocket. Some can have more than two blades. This one is called a sow belly. This one has three blades. Again, a slip joint. It's not a locking blade. And what I mean by a locking blade is something like this, where when you open the knife, the blade actually locks in place. And to close the knife, you have to unlock it like so. In this case, it's a liner lock. You push the liner lock with your thumb, allowing you to close the blade. So yeah, what kind? One of your an old timer. Okay, yeah, and keep in mind, there's a lot of overlap. Well, how do I put this? A majority of traditional knives tend to be slip joints, but that's not to say that there aren't locking slip joints. You can, or not locking slip joints. I'm sorry. there are locking traditional knives. It's just a lot tend to be slip joint. It's more about how do I put this? It's more about specific patterns and manufacturing that kind of differentiates between traditional and modern. Most traditional knives have a particular way of manufacture. A lot of them use pins like this one, even though this has modern materials in terms of like this. I believe this is a Micarta. It's either a G10 or Micarta scale. A lot of them use pins like this does. This one's actually a locking version. This one's new for 2026 from Case. This one's a Cheetah Cub, and you can see this one locks. You have to press down on this back lock here to release the blade. So you can't get traditional knives that lock. I guess it has to really do primarily with design, really, in how they're manufactured. It's just a majority do tend to be slip joints. The Cub's really neat. Not my super favorite new pattern for 2026. It's just a really cool pattern. I know a lot of people that love them. I prefer, my favorite pattern as of late is the Axe. And this one is an Axe that I actually toasted and burned myself. I like to customize some of my case knives, and I toasted. This was called a bright green gator jig, and it's called an Axe handle. This is also new for 2026. And what I do is these use natural bone for the scales. This is made by Case. They use natural bone. And I like to take a torch and I toast it to add all this brown. Normally this would be entirely green. And gator jig is the name of the texturing that they use. This is a gator jig. I believe this is a pocket worn peach seed jig, and that just refers to the texture of the bone that they put on there. And I use a torch to burn those and then add that brown color to all the ridges in the texturing to kind of just sort of customize it and sort of make it mine, I guess you could say. Some people like to do that. Some people don't. I like to do that depending on the knife and the jigging pattern. But this is one of my favorite new ones for 2026. Is this Axe handle. Modern knives, it really depends on really the materials and designs that they use when I'm looking at modern knives to collect. I have there are steels that I prefer, there are designs that I prefer, and things like that, all dependent on what I plan on using the knife for. Actually, the kind of Dugan stuff. How you doing? Miss you there. Welcome back. You want to collect more Rupel axes? Are you talking about the actual Bill Rupel? Well, those are Bill Rupel designs, the axe handles, so that's technically a Bill Rupel. Are you talking about the full-size Bill Rupels? The full-size axes? Oh, those are awesome looking, and those are actually locking versions. They're just really expensive. Expensive for me. I have a particular spend ceiling, mainly because, well, a couple reasons. One, obviously, anything. My ceiling is about $300. Anything, any single knife over $300 tends to be a little bit more than I'm willing to afford for a particular knife. And a big reasoning is I like to use a lot of my knives. I don't use all my knives. I admit that. I've got nearly 500 knives. It'd be almost impossible for me to use all of them. But I do like to use many of my knives. And I mean, I do like to carry a lot of them. So when a knife starts getting more and more expensive, you know, it's harder for me to save up and purchase it. And if something were to happen to it, it gets harder for me to replace, which is a big thing. A lot of knives that I won't carry are things that are limited, things that are really close to the 300 with some exceptions. Again, mainly because I just don't want anything to happen to it. I know I can be a klutz. Like, so for example, I'm not carrying what's one that's just strictly in my collection for being in my collection, like this PB&J Sodbuster. If anything were to happen to this PB&J, I can no longer replace it. I'm not, unless I want to pay like $200 to $300 for them, because these get priced up crazily on on the secondhand market, which is, I think, the only place you're going to be able to get them. Certainly, I won't be able to get a new one, and then certainly not for the price that I bought this one for. I think retail, I think these were like what, $80 to $90, and then last time I saw one of these go on sale at an auction, they were like 200 something, which is nuts. So yeah, as much as I love the Crossroads, they are one of my favorite knives from Case. This is one that I will leave in my collection and not carry. It's conversation piece, display only. Things like that. Anything limited, I won't carry with me, just simply because I can't replace it. But I would love, that being said, I would love a Bill Ruppel axe. I would love to get my hands on one. I wish I could. They're just priced out of my range. If I get lucky and I can get one for under that 300 ceiling, and the 300 ceiling is something I impose on myself. I don't have anything against anybody like carrying something more expensive. I know I have friends that one of them carries a $600 knife every day and uses it every day. Thing is, the blade scratched up. He's sharpened it a few times. Sucker was like $600 when he got it. But that's, it's what he likes, it's what he carries. He uses it and it works freaking well. Awesome. He can afford to replace it. I would cry. I would cry heavily if something happened to it. So, teach their own. Everybody's going to have their thing. Modern knives would be something like these. Spyderco, even though Spyderco has been around for a long time, they just tend to have like modern locking systems. And when I say modern locking systems, liner locks are relatively new. I know Case has liner lock knives, like their I forgot what they call, rust locks and stuff like that. But usually it's in conjunction with modern materials, modern steels. Like this is a Manix 2. This one being an older knife, this one is a liner lock. This is a Rat. Actually, this is a Rat 1.5. One of my favorite knives because it's Magna Cut steel, and it's for a Magna Cut steel, it's probably the least expensive Magna Cut steel knife you will ever find at under $100. I think prior to this knife coming out, I think the cheapest Magna Cuts that I've seen were roughly around like 140, and those were from Kershaw, the Bel Airs, and I think they were like around 140, like on sale. And not only is this a Magna Cut knife, but I've talked about this before. It's a Magna Cut steel blade that is actually very, very well treated for under $100, and that's saying a lot, because treatment can make or break a knife, regardless of how awesome the steel is supposed to be. If it's not treated well, an awesome steel can end up being junk and not performing the way it should be. But these have been independently tested and were shown to be treated amazingly good. And getting something like that at this cost of under $100 is freaking awesome. Many modern knives will have fancy locking mechanisms, like the Shark Lock. This one's a Demco. Oh, good grief! My brain's farting. I know it's Shark Lock 20 CV steel. Another one of my favorite knives. This one's now. Somebody's told me I've been mentioning the name wrong. I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's Ketuo. Ketuo is how I'm pronouncing it. If somebody knows how to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be, let me know. Correct me, please. This is the Yakuza. This is an inexpensive version of a premium knife that they make. I think this one ran still around like $120 roughly. Their premium runs, if I remember correctly, closer to around $300. And modern knives also like these automatics. This is a Kershaw Launch 20, which is a side opening automatic push button. And I have a Cobra Tech. This one's a hidden bolster trapper. It looks kind of like a traditional knife, but it is an automatic where you press this bolster to the side. There we go. And it pops out like that. Another one of my favorite knives. Just with more traditional styling, so it looks more like a traditional knife. But those are just examples of between like some traditionals and some moderns. Didn't really divide those up really well. Traditionals up here. Oh my god, I should have picked something without a clip. That thing keeps sliding around. Where's something without a clip? There we go. Here's a trapper. You don't have experience with the knife. I've been carrying a Remet Camp. Remet's nice. Remet's probably one of my favorite manufacturers. I have quite a lot of Remet. Oh, this one was a Kershaw Blur. This one's an assisted. Forgot to show that. It's kind of like it's not an automatic knife, but it has a spring assist. So it kind of fires the knife with a lot more force. But you do have to push it along. There's no push button to activate it. So they call that an assisted knife. Remet Camel is one that I've been looking at getting. But again, it's one of those things where I haven't gotten anything new in a little bit simply because of finances being what they were. But I will be back in the game in regards to some new purchases soon. Have I seen the new Yes, I've seen the new Vandal. It is sexy. You are correct. I haven't. It's on my list. Let's just put it that way. Actually, no. Before I say anything, let me make sure, because I have it. I have an image in my head, but I've been wrong before. Let me just make sure I am looking at the right one, because I've been showing quite a lot of knives recently. And yes, is that the, yeah, okay. That's the one I was thinking of. Yes, the Vandal. I'm tempted. It's a sexy knife. There's only one thing that I'm not too fond of it, and it's just my preference. I'm just not the biggest fan of recurves. And what I mean by recurves are this type of blade. There's that blur again. Recurve has kind of like, you have your belly here on this side, and then it kind of curves inward a little bit. So you have this kind of, you don't really have a straight flat edge to the blade. And while I think they look fantastic, like I do love my Blur. Don't get me wrong, I do love this knife. This is a great knife, and this happens to be a PB&J Kershaw Blur, which was, I believe, limited from SMKW. They're kind of, at least for me, they're kind of they're kind of a pain in the ass to keep sharp because of that curve. I mean, there are ways to do that. Like rods and things like that, and I do have a few sharpening rods to keep my blades. I have a few recurves to keep them nice and sharp. I just find them to be kind of a pain in the ass. I like straighter edges, or at least broader bellied knives. You know, like for example, the shark's foot, which is their name for a sheep's foot. This one has a straighter, like blade. It has a belly to it, but it doesn't have that weird inward curve. The inward curves are the ones, is it concave, convex, concave? I always get those confused. Concave, like a cave. Yeah, concave. It doesn't have a concave edge like a recurve does. So I find these a lot easier to sharpen, or even something with a perfectly straight edge to them. Um, I just have difficulty with it, so that's why I don't like them. I know a lot. I think they look awesome, but since I do all my own sharpening and stuff, I try to stick with stuff that's easier to deal with. But I'm not gonna lie, that thing looks cool as hell. The Vandal does look good. Hey, Terry, how you doing? I kind of like went all over the place. This makes a good segue. So let's talk about profiles. So maybe I can actually get on track with something. Profiles. Starting with like that recurve from, he was talking about the Vandal, that has that inward curve, outward belly. Really neat profile. Great for slicing. These are amazing blades for slicing. And when I'm talking about like a profile, they talk about the shape of the knife. Like this is a recurve. This one is a sheep's foot. But anytime anybody mentions blade profile, this is what they're talking about, is the particular shape of that blade. And the reason why they have so many different profiles, other than the fact, other than aesthetics, is some profiles are better for some things than others. I'm just opening up all these. Did that even lock? Don't do that. This freaks me out because this thing is sharp as hell. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that works. I'm just going to pull a few out so we can go over different blade types or blade profiles. This one, kind of already shown. Let me see what else we have here. This one is a clip point. And we'll pull this second blade out. That's a spade blade. Now, this is what we're talking about, pattern or profiles. Some blade profiles have they're better for certain tasks than others. You have, this one is a Tanto style blade. Tanto style blades generally have a secondary point, which is this point right here. And they're called Tantos because the Tanto blades that were made in Japan, there's similar styling to those blades. Also, another blade that I think, or another profile I think looks really, really cool, but not one of my favorites to maintain, simply because, again, when it comes down to sharpening, and this is just my preference, a lot of people love these things. I just hate maintaining it because when I'm sharpening something like this or having to hone it, it's like dealing with two knives in one. I've got this edge I'm trying to hone and sharpen, and then I've got I believe they call it Kisaki, I think, this edge that I'm trying to hone and sharpen. And if you want to keep the Tanto, that secondary point, prominent, you have to be really careful about how even you hone and sharpen each of these edges. Otherwise, that point can start to move in one direction or another, or it could disappear entirely. That's the reason why I don't like maintaining them. I still think they look awesome. Like, this is a really awesome knife from, again, hope I'm pronouncing it right, Keto. But for me, kind of a pain in the butt to maintain the edge on. We have the sheep's foot. Like we mentioned before, this is probably one of my favorite profiles because it lends itself to it's better for all the tasks that I normally use a knife for in day to day. Whether it comes down to slicing, chopping, or cutting, things like opening packages, even cutting on a cutting mat, like different shapes, cutting cordage, things like that. It's just, this particular profile lends itself really well to like everything that I do day to day. And the reason being is like, okay, here's your standard, this one's like a straight back. Oh no, this has a very slight drop point to it, as opposed to the sweeping belly you have here. Sweeping bellies are great for slicing, but when you're dealing with, say, you're cutting something on a cutting mat, okay, it's hard to get a proper angle without, if you're cutting something like cardboard or you're trying to do precise cuts with something that has a belly like this, whereas this one comes to a much finer point at the tip, and I don't have to raise my hand at an insane angle to cut across on a cutting mat. Whereas something with a belly, if I want to use the tip, I'm having to kind of raise it really high. And that's one of the reasons why I like it. It makes it package opening easier for me. And I do a lot of stuff where I'm cutting cardboard in different shapes or cutting paper on a cutting mat. And it's just easier to control for those types of tasks. The other profiles, this one's more of a leaf shaped blade. Really great for slicing because you got a prominent belly here, as well as a nice finer point for piercing. You have, this one's a spay blade. And they call these a spay blade because a lot of people on ranches would use these to spay their animals. You have less of a point to accidentally pierce things you don't want to pierce. A lot of people like using these for skinning, things like that. In fact, things with prominent bellies, such as this one here, which has a more prominent belly, or even this recurve, which is a real prominent belly, great for skinning animals, because there's less of a chance to pierce like organs and things like that. But yeah, that's what they're referring to. And there's many different profiles. And like I have this mat, which gives you a good idea of the most of the profiles that you'll see out on the market today. Everything from straight back, drop point, Tonto, clip point, sheep's foot, Warncliffe, things like that. And then you'll have combinations of different knives, which usually end up, or different profiles, which usually end up being called modified, which is kind of like a catch-all. But that's what those are. Looks like half Batman. Which one are you talking about, Terry? Which one looks like half Batman? Are you talking about this one? Or are you talking about this one? There we go. I'm going to start closing all these knives because I've got so many blades open. As soon as I drop my hand on this, I'm slicing something open. There we go. And all these knives are, I like to keep my knives sharpened at the ready. So many of these knives have their factory edge, which is like for the for the Demco and the Spyderco and the Rat are crazy sharp right out of the box. Same with the Kershaw. Those that weren't crazy sharp out of the box, I've honed and stropped to the point of where they should be pretty crazy sharp. So I got to be a little careful with some of these. The one with a cowl? I'm not sure which one has a cowl. The only reason why I think these two is just because the blade shapes and the coloring. That's the only thing I can think of that would resemble. Maybe this one probably resembles Batman more than anything. Actually, really comfortable in the hand. I've been loving Spyderco immensely. They're a little on the pricier side, but they are some of the most comfortable knives I've ever used. Actually, I have one that probably resembles Batman more than that one. This was the most recent Spyderco that I purchased. It was actually the most recent knife that I got that came in. This is the Yojimbo from Spyderco. This one's still kind of stiff. Needs to be worked. Ooh. Yeah, because I haven't fussed around with this a whole lot. So this one actually has a really strong detent. But that's the Ojimbo. And this was actually designed as a fighting knife. But it's probably one of my favorite knives, especially for utility. Again, because of, the profile makes for a great chopping knife, utility knife, because it actually resembles a utility blade in a way, coming to a very sharp point, straight edge as opposed to having a curve, but it's hollow ground, so it makes it a really nice slicer. Hollow grind, basically, I don't know if you can tell, a hollow grind, if you can see here, you can see there's a slight curve as it gets towards the edge. And that makes for a really, really slicey edge, as opposed to having a straight, going from, like having a straighter angle, I guess you could say. This one has a hollow grind, a very deep hollow grind too. But it's a really awesome utility blade. Again, designed for fighting, but I realized I really enjoy it for everyday use. It looks ugly as hell. But I do love this knife, and it's super comfortable in the hand. Like, I didn't realize it. Like, I bought it because it was really goofy looking, and I've heard a lot of people talking about how good a knife it was. But like I've said before, I can't really form an opinion until I have it in my hand myself. I mean, I can say it's ugly looking, but as far as any other opinion, that's it. So I decided to finally get it. I got it at a really good price. What the hell did I do with my cloth? I had one. I was just holding one, and then I tossed it off to the side. I have 20 billion microfiber cloths, and for some reason, I lose them all. There we go. I thought it looked really ugly. I finally found one. They were having a sale. Decided to pick it up. I got it for, I believe it was like closer on like $170. And then I unboxed it live, actually. I got it in my hand, and I was like, this doesn't feel bad at all. And then I did this, and then I fell in love with it because it fits. It's like molded to my hand. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, it looks goofy as hell, but a really, really nice knife. Like I said, I haven't done a whole lot with it, so the detent on this is pretty crazy. It's actually hard for me to reverse flick, which is something I normally do with all my Spydercos. As you can see, I'm having a little trouble. But also I cut my nails, so that's another reason. But a really, really solid blade. And this one was in S30V. Another reason why I got it, it's a steel that I never had in my collection. Golden, Colorado. Made in Golden, Colorado, USA, on Earth. I love how they put that on there. But one of my favorite Spydercos already. My favorite being a Sage 5s. I'm having so much trouble opening this. There we go. But I haven't used a lot. One thing I noticed about Spyderco, the US made ones, is they seem to need a little break-in. After I've used them a little bit, they become, like, this one has a really silky smooth drop. It's just got a really strong detent. Like, if I press the compression lock, this thing just drops shut. But it's got a really, really strong detent, making it a little harder for me to open or reverse flick like I normally would. There we go. But after some use, that'll probably lighten up really well. I had another knife made in the USA from Spyderco that was really stiff when I first got it. This was the PM3. But I've actually carried this quite a bit, and now it's just smooth as silk, opens with a quick flick, still still solidly in there. It's not like it's just going to drop open. But awesome knife. Still a hint of lock stick, but that's gone away tremendously compared to what it was when I first got it. So it seems like the USA ones need a little breaking in, but after that, they're freaking solid knives. If that was the one you were talking about, Terry. Let's see, but I completely forgot what the hell I was talking about. We were talking about profiles and things like that. Yeah. If you haven't yet, this is the NAFS Night Mat. This is made by NAFS. This one actually details this particular knife that's on the mat is of a baby banter. But the cool thing about this mat is it shows all the different knife profiles that you could come across. It gives you some real interesting information, like on regards to just, a little bit on maintenance, blade angles, even screw sizes. You get the names of the different parts of a modern knife, and you even have different grinds here. Like you get the flat grind, you have flat, Scandi, hollow grind, which is what I was talking about earlier. That's on the there it is. That's on the Ojimbo. Hollow grind, convex, compound, chisel, and pretty nice mat. A lot of people ask where I get the mat. I got this on Amazon. I have a link. Again, there's a link in the description if you like this mat. I think it's, hold on a second, let me look real quick. It should be on there. I was going to say, I thought it was like one of the first ones on there. But I have to check the description, and this takes me a minute. Because I've had more questions about that mat than anything else. Oh, wait, no. What happened to all my descriptions? Oh, my God. I just realized they all done disappeared. Okay, I used to have them in the description. Whoops, let me fix that. YouTube, what are you doing? I used to have a bunch of links in the description, and they all reverted to an old description. Why did you do that? Okay, let me see if I can find them. How long ago has that been happening? Oh, that's been going on for the last several lives. I didn't even notice that. Yipes. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this stuff out, because this had a lot of my old description had a lot of links to stuff that I would use on the channel, because everybody kept asking me like what I was using, like for a mat and all that other stuff. And like the cases I thought were in the description. I guess not. Okay, let me save that. All right, so if you refresh your screen, it should now appear on the description. But I got mine on Amazon. There's a link down below. If you use that link, I do get a little bit back from it, I think, like a couple cents. You don't have to use the link, but it's there. But that should get you to the mat. Hopefully that link still works. Also, same with the cases. If not, you can just do a search on the cases, Casematics, and you'll also see a bunch of other cases as well that are pretty similar. The ones I have are Casematics, and then I have another one from a different brand that's a lot bigger with a harder foam, and then that one's called Case Club. And that's what I use for a lot of my, to store a lot of my modern knives. I just ran out of coffee. Dang it. But yeah, really informative mat. It's just a neat mat, and I'm not the only streamer to use. Nearly every streamer I've seen, every YouTube channel has one of these mats, and if they're not always showing it, I've seen it in the background, or it might be prominent, just like on my channel, just because it has so much information on it. Let me see here. Let me make sure I have. Did that get set? Okay, I think that's set. Okay, just wanted to make sure everything was okay before I moved on. All right, there we go. So I don't know if anybody had any other questions. I know some people, one of the questions I've been asked in the past is, how do I choose a knife? Now, that question, I've always said that when it comes down to choosing a knife, like there are people that don't necessarily collect, but they want to know that their money's going in the right direction. And I can give suggestions, but it's really dependent on what you plan on using the knife for. If you're looking for a general use knife, or are you looking for something specific, like I don't know how it is in your. Well, the first thing I will always suggest, if you're looking to buy a knife, the first thing I always suggest doing is check your local knife laws. Now, I'll be the first to say I'm not particularly fond of the knife laws. I think a lot of them are kind of butt kissing, useless knife laws. I'll just say that right now. But I am somebody that does, I want to be an example. I follow the laws, and stuff like that. Mainly because I don't want the trouble. I just don't want to have to deal with it. So first thing I always suggest is check your local knife laws, because a lot of times, depending on where you live, it could be the state. In my particular state, it's really screwy, because the knife laws in my state, I almost sliced a finger open. The knife laws in my state can vary. They don't have an overall law for the state. The laws are broken up depending on what county you're in, what city you're in, what village, neighborhood, whatever. The dumb thing about that is a lot of places have their own, the laws can change as soon as you cross the street, as soon as you cross over an invisible border, which is dumb as hell. So it's something you want to be very, very conscious of. Now, some places might not be super, they might not necessarily enforce them with an iron hand. Let's put it that way. A lot of times knife laws are used as an additional tack on charge. Like if you get arrested for something and you have a knife that is breaking local ordinances, it's something that they can tack on. They don't actively hunt people down just to see how, the size of their knife. But some places are much more strict. I know, like, for example, I can carry a knife like this. Okay. Perfectly legal for me because the size of the blade. And if I were to go into the big city, okay, and for some odd reason, somebody just happened to see a knife, the knife on me, I could get charged, because just by crossing into the big city, this would be considered a deadly weapon and would be illegal, which is stupid as hell. Simply because it is over, I think in the big city, it goes from 3 inches being the legal limit to 2.5. So as soon as you cross that invisible border, now you're carrying a deadly weapon. So yeah, be conscious of your knife laws. First thing when it comes to choosing a knife. Second thing, what are you using it for? If you have specific uses for that knife, that could change what you're going to be needing. Like if you are doing a lot of camping, if you're an outdoorsman, you're going to be taking the knife out in the woods a lot and doing heavy duty stuff. First of all, for heavy duty stuff, I wouldn't recommend a folder. I would say get something like a fixed blade. Because those will handle, heavy duty cutting. You don't have to worry about a pivot that could break under pressure. Get yourself a fixed blade knife. This is a fixed blade knife. It doesn't fold. They're nice and strong. I could sit there and I could hack at a tree branch with this. And I don't have to worry about it breaking at a pivot point. That being said, I'd always still carry a folder with me for emergencies and things like that. But in the case of outdoors, there are particular things you want to look for, like, say, for example, Spyderco makes some really good hard use knives that I would also recommend for, I would say, secondary outdoors use, because they have washers instead of bearings, which makes their pivot much better in terms of withstanding certain stresses, as well as if these get dumped in, like, say, dirty water or mud, there's less chance of that dirt gunking up the pivot, and they'll be able to continue to work under harsher conditions. Whereas something that has bearings in the pivot, ball bearings, might get particles and dirt stuck with, in between the ball bearings, and that could cause it to not function very well. The pivot might end up becoming very gritty. It could get jammed. It could get to a point where you can't even open the knife or close the knife, for that matter. So something like Spyderco or the Ontario Rat, great knives for outdoor use, simply because they use washers. If you're looking for something more general everyday, you don't have anything specific that you can think of, you just want something that you can that would handle most random tasks every day, then I would suggest getting something like, that opens to a lot of things, but one of my favorite knives for everyday use is something that has a sheep's foot profile like this does, or a Wharncliffe profile. A Wharncliffe would be, let me see here. I don't think I have a knife I'm trying to think of a knife that has a folding knife that has a Wharncliffe, but actually I don't think I have one out in front of me. I do have a fixed blade with a Wharncliffe blade. This is a Wharncliffe. Straight, very fine point. It's just great for utility work. Again, opening packages, nice fine point for piercing, still a capable slicer. But this particular blade profile is my favorite for general everyday use for nearly anything. So something like that, if you're not sure what you're even going to use a knife for, but still want a knife you can carry. You don't know if Texas has blade laws. As far as I know, Texas has some of the most relaxed blade laws in the country. If I remember correctly, you could walk around with a sword. if I remember correctly. Also, it does matter whether it's going to be whether you're carrying it concealed or you're carrying it in the open. Surprisingly, having a knife out in the open as opposed to carrying it in your pocket where nobody can see it can really change those laws. Like, for example, now tell me if I'm wrong. This is just what I've heard. Like, I wasn't kidding. And from what I understand, you can carry like a sword in Texas as long as it's like obvious. I mean, now if you're trying to say conceal a sword or something, that might change things entirely. But again, I don't know in Texas. Joe Black, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, that's another thing. Like I said, know your laws, because if you're carrying something open in a sheath where everybody can see it, that could drastically change what you might be allowed to carry. I think because knife laws tend to be pretty crazy all around, I know generally for most areas, at least for me, for most areas, The common thing is 3 inches or less. 3 inches or less is perfectly fine, as my girlfriend would say. That usually keeps you within most laws. And if you really are unsure, 3 inches or less and non-locking, like a slip joint, something like a lot of these traditional knives. Something 3 inches or less and non-locking will generally keep you out of trouble in most places. Again, not every. Some have some crazy strict laws. Like I said, that the big city where I live has some crazy strict laws, and apparently 3 inches is too big. Part of the reason why I call them tight asses. Anyway, yeah, even 3 inches is too big in the big city. And I don't even know what changes in terms of law. I avoid the big city if at all possible. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, and that could also change things as well, whether you carry in the open or you carry it concealed. But I'll just check, really, and check often, because it's crazy how often those same knife laws can change in the blink of an eye. It could be one thing, and the next year it could be completely different. Let me put this one back real quick. So check what they are, and just keep in mind next year they could be vastly different from what you read the year before. That's just me trying to keep you guys out of trouble. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people, and a lot of people have said it before. It's like, oh, I don't care about the laws, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. It's up to you on how you want to carry. I'm not going to tell you how to carry. I'm not going to tell you what to carry. All I'm going to do is offer suggestions. I know what I prefer to do. At the same time, if something does happen, that's on you. Your choices. Just be prepared to own those choices. Oh, I completely forgot. I wanted to say thank you, because this is one thing I did get this week. It's not a knife, but it's kind of knife related, and I wanted to say thank you to. And he's got his own knife channel, or actually, I don't know if it's particularly just knives, because I've seen him sharpening a hog splitter. So he's got his own, let's say, knife and tool channel. Let's put it that way, because that's what these say in the stickers. I want to say thank you to Redbeard. He sent me these stickers. Redbeard Knife and Tool. He does have his own YouTube channel. I don't know what the YouTube channel is, but I'm pretty sure if you look up Redbeard Knife and Tool, you should be able to find it. That's really shiny. There we go. That's a little better. I wanted to say thanks to Redbeard Knife and Tool, because he sent my way some Redbeard Knife and Tool beard and tool butter, and we're going to use some of that today on a knife just to see how it goes. But he sent me some beard and tool butter. Now, I'm Asian. I do have a beard. I just wish it was as full and lush as this one is right there. I could probably still make use of it. I'm gonna have to let my beard grow a little, because I've been keeping it cut relatively short cropped. But now that I have this, and yes, I have a tool. I do have tools. But we're going to give this a little use today, because I'm going to show you some ways that you can use this stuff. That I normally use a paste wax for a lot of my tools. In fact, what I normally use, where do I have it? Good grief, how am I losing everything? You'd think I'd be better prepared, but everything fell off my table. Oh, God, that's why I don't see it. It's because everything fell off my damn table. Where did I put my wax? I'm going to show you I'm going to show you a couple of things that I like to use. You guys have probably seen them on the channel as well. There's that. Hold on, let me grab this. And oh, great. I don't know where it went. It went and fell over somewhere. There we go. I was prepared up until I forgot about a bunch of shit. Let me throw all these on the table so I can grab at them later. Those are there. Grab this and... yeah, my actual wax must have rolled away somewhere. I don't know where it went. That's kind of a bummer. Normally, one of the things I like to use is now missing. God dang it, I had it here a moment ago. Well, that's a fine mess I got myself into. I'm going to have to find it because I really like that stuff. And I don't know where it went. All I know is it fell off somewhere and probably rolled away. And I have a lot of cleanup to do, apparently. Okay. Well, like oils, I like to use. Protectants, I like to use. Sharpeners that I like to use. All those things like that. I had in a box, which apparently tipped over and spilled everything away. Yeah. Not as prepared as I thought. Whoops. Oh well. You still daily carry your... oh, hey, Cobani. You still daily carry your Raja 2. Might switch it up for the Venetian. It's like 7 inches. Good grief. You carry some of the biggest knives. I like to keep my stuff hidden. When it comes to knives, When it comes to knives, I'm not much of a shower. I like to keep my stuff relatively hidden and only taken out when I need them. But that, again, that's me. Carry how you want. Where is it? Like I had a couple vials of this stuff, and now I don't know where. They all fell off somewhere and rolled. Really? Did you seriously all just roll away somewhere? I'm probably going to find it half an hour from now. And that's going to piss me off. Because I kind of wanted to use it. Because I was going to do some knife maintenance. I somehow managed to lose all of them. I know they fell off somewhere, which is the stupid part. I just don't know where they fell off to. Okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. I got way too much crap on my desk. And when I say crap, I mean knives. Okay, well, we'll just have to stick. I normally like... what is this stuff? I haven't even opened this. But yeah, thanks again. Oh, it's like a paste wax. Okay, so yeah, I like to use paste wax when it comes to protecting my knives, personally. This one, I don't know what he uses, but apparently it's good enough to be used on your beard as well as a knife protectant. And it's bugging me that I can't find it now that I've been looking for it. Because I had it out just a moment ago. I can't believe that this is me live. Looking for crap that was out like a moment ago and then rolled away and I can no longer find. Because this is how my life is right now. I don't know where any of it went. Which is the dumb thing. Because the sad part is I was just staring at the stuff just a few moments ago. Poop. Wait, hold on. Did I have different clothes on? What? Yes, I am a role model. For what, I have no idea. Don't ever use me as a role model for anything unless it's like what not to do. But yeah, that's the crazy thing is for some reason I just happen to lose my paste wax. And my brain doesn't allow me to remember names, so I can't remember what it was called. which is even worse. Because I would tell you what it's called, but my brain doesn't function that way. So I have a tendency to forget names a lot, which is happening right now. And I don't understand where I could have lost that giant freaking tin of oil, or not oil, of wax. Because I had a literal giant tin of wax. And I can't find it anymore because it rolled away somewhere. I'm also not the most well organized, but that's neither here nor there. The funny thing is I have several tins of that wax, and I can't even find the other tins, which I had just a moment ago. Thanks, Terry. You sucker, remember. Seabald, how you doing? I was setting stuff up last minute, so that's another issue that I have. I was setting things up last minute, and that's what I get for. Like I said, it's been a busy few weeks, and that's part of what's been kind of killing me here. Oh, this is gonna kill me. I don't know where it went. I don't know why I have all these papers here. You can hear me rustling, I know that. Because I have 20 billion magazines, because I collect the magazines so I can cut them. But the fact that I can't find my wax that I use every freaking day is blowing my mind. So I do use that stuff every day. Well, I use that stuff every day up until today. So I can't use something I can't find any longer. Well, he did some shit. Like it has utterly disappeared from my desk. How the hell does that happen? That's weird as hell. Especially when you keep several tins around. Like every tin I have is gone. Somebody eating my shit? I am actually flabbergasted. How the frick do I miss every freaking tin of something that I use every freaking day? That blows my mind. Oh, that's the last place I could have checked. And it's not even there. Okay. Well, I don't know how the hell that happened. But I've completely lost all my wax. You kidding me? And you know the sad part is I'm going to find it as soon as I'm done with the stream. As soon as I'm done with the stream, it's going to be like right there. The one place I just didn't look. Oh, well. Well, I was going to show you what paste wax I normally use. Which is, hold on. Because now I've got to frickin' find it. Because I can't remember the damn name of it. Wicked Wax. Why can I not remember that? It's Wicked Wax. Wicked Wax is something that I normally use to protect my knives. And what I do is I would take a microfiber cleaning cloth and I would just take a little bit of Wicked Wax, and then I would swipe it over the blade. And now I don't believe Redbeard uses beeswax. I think Wicked Wax, a primary ingredient to Wicked Wax is beeswax. I forgot what Redbeard uses, but I believed he was using a wax for his tools to protect his tools, and he was like, wouldn't that be great to use on a beard? And so he changed the formula a bit so that it was something that you can utilize on your beard as well as on your tools. But for some reason, I've managed to completely lose all my Wicked Wax, even though I had like tons of that stuff lying around. Okay, well, hang on a second. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I will be right back. Let me turn this off so you guys don't hear anything weird. Okay, I'm back. Excuse me. All right. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I would have liked to show you the Wicked Wax, but it's all gone. And I don't know why. Okay. Well, I do have something similar to Wicked Wax. This one is from Texas Blade Butter. This is something. He's a seller on Whatnot. Similar stuff, Texas Blade Butter. And if I remember correctly, this one kind of got crushed. This particular version is also like antimicrobial, if I remember correctly. But the reason why I liked using Wicked Wax, Texas Blade Butter, and things like that is because it's also food safe. So if you're using it on your blades to protect your blades from rust, and you use that particular knife also for preparing food or cutting your food, you're not going to run into any problems with, putting any weird chemicals on your food. You can use it to protect your blade, and it won't affect your food in any way, and adversely your health. Another protectant, if you don't like waxes, is this one's from KPL. This is called KPL's Knife Shield. This is also a knife protectant, is also food safe, and helps prevent rust. The only thing with this is it's a liquid, and you do have to shake it really good before you use it. And then what you would do is you'd spray this on the blade, let it sort of drip down the blade for like 10, 15 seconds, and then you take a microfiber cleaning cloth, and then you just wipe away the excess. I've used this for a lot of fixed blades, like that one fixed blade that I showed you. Let me go grab it again. This one happens to be a Titan Knives fixed blade, bone handle. I believe that's Stag for the bolster. This one I've used that spray protectant on. And one benefit to the spray protectant is waxes will usually make the finish look a lot more dull. This one I'm able to maintain the shine with the spray. Now, I've been using this for a while now because I've been wanting to see how well this holds up. This one happens to be, but this one's KPL. Because they do tend to be kind of pricey. But so far, this has been left out in the open where it has collected dust that I wipe off every now and then. And dust is something that can really rust your knife blade, believe it or not. And the reason being is a lot of times dust will settle on a knife blade and dust will collect moisture, kind of like a sponge. So now you have this dust, which has been collecting moisture, sitting on your knife blade. And even stainless steel. I've had a stainless steel knife sitting out in the open that I completely forgot about. Collected a lot of dust. And there were rust spots and pitting everywhere that the dust had settled. It was a big pain in the ass to clean. But this has been out a better part of a year with infrequent dusting and not a mark on it. Looks pretty good. Now, it is a stainless steel, so it should be pretty rust resistant already. But I've also done a number of Damascus steels, which contain high carbon, which can pretty easily rust. And this is one that's been kind of out in the open also for a while. I'll put in a slip when I want to carry it. And this is another one I've been using the spray, the KPL spray on, and this has been holding up really well. But Wicked Wax is one of my favorites. Been recently using this for the last few months, and this has been working pretty well. I like to stick with stuff that's food safe. So those are two of the things that I use. Another protectant that I'll use. Some people don't like waxes or sprays. A lot of people just like to swipe some oil on the blade. This is called camellia oil. It's Japanese knife oil. And this is probably a much more economical way of protecting your knives because I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was like maybe $8-9 for this compared to like $15 for like one of the sprays. And you get a lot more oil. This has done hundreds of knives. And I'll use this to clean my traditional knives. Like I'll literally like pour this down the well to clean the knives, and also for pivots. And I'll also sometimes use this to just swipe along a carbon steel blade as a knife protectant, and it works really well. In fact, I use this actually more for my swords. And I haven't run into any problems. It's great. It's not very expensive. This particular brand, I have a link. I should have a link down in the description as well. Let me check that link. But I should have a link down there. Good grief. Takes me a while to do this because I've got 20 different windows open. Kurobara, 100% pure Tsubaki, Japanese knife maintenance, camellia oil. That couldn't have been any longer of a description. Let me open that up. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yeah. And that's like, under $9 for 3.4 ounces that I'm actually currently seeing on. I'm going to have to buy more, actually. This has lasted me for the better part of 1.5 years, and I've still got plenty. I still have plenty. And I've done a few swords with this. I've done hundreds of knives with this. And when I say hundreds of knives, I'm talking about not just oiling the blade and putting some oil in the pivot, but like cleaning a bunch of, like nearly every traditional knife that I have, and I've got quite a lot. I've used this on to clean the inside of the well, which meant pouring it down the well, just several drops, letting it run down, and then swiping out any dirt and stuff like that. So, and this is, I still got plenty left in this bottle. So that lasts a good long time. And again, it's food safe. So if you're using your knives for preparing or eating food, It's another one that's not going to affect you in any way in that regard. So another food safe product. And then for a lot of my modern knives, when it comes to oiling, like I'll put some oil in the pivot. I'll be using this here. This is KPL, same brand that does that knife protectant. This is their original knife pivot lube, knife oil. Now, I believe this is I believe it's supposed to be food safe, but this is not something that I use to protect the blades. What I do is this is something I will drop into the pivot of a blade that right in here. I'll apply like one drop on each side. And the reason why I do that, even with brand new knives, is just it's a little protectant that helps keep the pivot lubricated. And because that's like with a lot of folding knives, that's really your main movement point where you got metal rubbing up against metal. That'll also reduce any wear in that area with, constantly opening and closing a knife. It'll help reduce that wear because you've got that well lubricated in there. But that's what I'll use this for. 1 or 2 drops in the pivot, and then you're golden. But I don't use it for the blade itself. A lot of times for the blade, I'll use the oil. I'll use the paste wax or the oil or this KPL protectant. And that's what I use for the blade. One other thing I like to use paste wax for, though, is also for some scales, depending on what the scales are. Wooden scales and micarta scales, a lot of people like the worn look, like the patinas. Some people like a look that looks more new, I guess you can say. Some, they like the new look of wood. They like the new look of micarta. And to give an example, let's see here. Let me grab a micarta real quick that we can use as an example. If I can find one. I have 20 billion knives, and I'd have to sift through all the cases. Open. Here's a good example. One of the knives that I carry off, one of my favorite pocket knives. This is the Vosteed Porcupine. Just a great everyday carry. Nice wide belly. You got a top liner lock, which is a button lock, really secure lock. This one has micarta scales, which is the material. And the thing with micarta scales is you can get a nice worn look to them. Like this one's kind of like you can see it looks a little dried out. It's been worn from carrying my pocket. Some people, though, like that look. To me, neither here nor there. Some people like a more newer look, like they like to keep their knives looking relatively newish. And if that's something that you like to do, and the same thing with wood, you can use a paste wax like Wicked Wax or this Texas Blade Butter. And one thing you can do is, let me grab a cloth real quick. I'll just grab this microfiber cleaning cloth. Just take a little wax. And again, this is how I would protect the blade using wax. I would take a little bit on a cloth like this, and I would just rub it on the blade. You don't need a lot. And the cool thing about this is it stays where you put it. The only downside is that it won't run into any crevices. So you can't get the wax to leak in places you can't reach. And also wax is the only thing that will these paste waxes like Wicked Wax and the Texas Blade Butter. Beeswax will neutralize finger oils. So if you got corrosive, if your natural chemistry tends to be on the corrosive side, use a wax like this, and it'll actually neutralize fingerprints. Oils actually won't do that. Waxes will. And I do have relatively corrosive oils on my hands, more so than your average person. So I'm always really careful of wiping my blades down. And another reason why I use wax is because it'll neutralize those fingerprints. But that's what I do with a blade. And then what I'll do if I want my micarta to look nice and new, take a little bit and you just wipe it on the micarta. And I like using Wicked Wax because it's not super slippery. So you don't get a really bad, like, oily feeling. And you don't need much. Put a little bit on there. Make sure you wipe any excess off. And the great thing is you don't have to worry about it like, oh, it got into a crevice or something. In fact, it's probably good that it got into a crevice that you can't reach. I'm just going to do this one side. Yeah, and then looks like new again. Looks like out of the box. A little bit over here. Yeah, looks brand spanking new on this side. And you can see in comparison to the other side, which I haven't done. And the same thing with a lot of wood handles as well. I'm trying to see if I have any wood. Let's see. This one still looks relatively new. But these are wood inserts. Let's see how that looks. A good look at that right now. See if this makes a difference. Brings a little shine to it. I'm going to do a part of that there so you can see the difference there, where I waxed it, where I didn't. So it brings a little shine to it there. And whereas micarta, it doesn't really soak into the micarta, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did soak a little bit into the wood and even help protect the wood a little bit. See, a little drier on this side. Looks like I just applied some linseed oil or something. There we go. So yeah, if you like your micarta looking new, or your wood looking really new, that's another thing I'll use paste wax for. And again, it doesn't have a super slick feeling, like a little bit, because keep in mind it is a paste wax. But as opposed to an oil where it might feel like it's going to go sliding out of your hand, I don't have too much problem with paste wax being on the scales. Most of the time, micarta like this here is textured in a way that even with some wax on the micarta, the texture itself still provides a pretty nice grip and like the jimping and stuff like that. The only hard part, like I said, is like, especially when it comes down to like the pocket clip, it's a little hard to get it in there if you're trying to make that entire scale look good. And if you're wanting to do that side, you're going to have to remove the pocket clip in order to get down in there to all of that micarta. Which is not something I think a lot of people would probably want to have to deal with. But at least the show side looks nice and clean. Now, keep in mind this will, because again, it doesn't soak in a micarta as far as I know, and this will start to eventually wear out again. So it's something that you will have to reapply every now and then to keep it looking that way. Now, I don't do it too often myself because the worn look doesn't bother me. But when it comes to those knives that I do have primarily as just collection pieces and not something that I take about with me on day to day, this works great for those things that I leave out on display. Nice deep blue. Compared to, let's see, do I have another? I have a raccoon that's similar. You can see how this one looks, kind of like, I don't know, it looks dry. A little deeper blue, but I don't carry this one as often as I do that porcupine. And on some G10s, it works pretty well. This is an Acaso. This one has a carbon fiber. Let's see what this looks like. So this is what it looks like normally. I'll put a little paste wax on there, just on half of it. Let's see if that made a difference. There you go. Yeah, quite a bit. And this is a carbon fiber flake, which would mean it's carbon fiber and probably some type of resin. Made that look quite a bit deeper, and it actually even made the reds. Is that a carbon fiber flake or is that a swirl? I could be wrong. Either way, it's looking a lot better. It does the job. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's another reason why I like using pastes. It's because they neutralize fingerprints, they protect metal from rust, they can rejuvenate the look of some scales, and it typically stays where you put it. Again, the only downside is that you can't really get it into like a pivot. You can't really, if you can't reach it with a cloth at your fingertip, you're probably not going to be able to get wax in there. But it does, in my opinion, and from what I've understood from others, when it comes to rust protection, it's kind of really hard to beat wax. Oil's great, but it won't neutralize fingerprints. It can tend to run, which is good if you're trying to get it into small crevices and stuff. Bad if you're trying to get it to stay put in some spots and not go anywhere else. But it still will do the job. Nice thing about oil also is it's really quick and easy to apply. Whereas paste might take a little bit more care and effort. Whereas, you can literally just drip oil on a blade and then just wipe off the excess. This one you have to actively be a bit more cognizant of where you apply the wax and be a little bit more careful. I will tell you already, I have sliced my finger open because I was applying wax to a very sharp blade and wasn't paying as much of attention as I should have been paying. And one of the knives that I had it's insanely sharp, and I was just going over it like this, went to look at the screen, and then I felt that knife bite into my finger, and I knew I had cut my finger. So you got to be careful. But I love using paste waxes on Damascus blades simply because of their protective properties. So that was a Damascus blade. And when I generally go looking for protective wax like that, I go for something that contains beeswax because I know it's food safe. I don't know if Redbeard's knife and tool butter is food safe. So until I find out whether it's food safe or not, if you were to get Redbeard's knife and tool butter, I would probably stick to knives and tools that aren't going to come in contact with food, or use it for things like your scales as opposed to the blade. Like, let me pull something out here. What could use some good protecting? Good grief. This is a Damascus. This is a collaboration between Texas Knives and Chasing Blades. with mahogany wood handles. Let's see how that handles the mahogany wood. Mahogany wood handles. Let's see how it handles it. We're going to use some of this beard and tool butter. Now, I'm not too worried about this one because I don't use this knife at all. This is, for me, it's a collector's piece. Put this on half the handle here. Got mahogany handle. That brings out the grain. You can see towards the butt, I didn't put any wax there, aside from maybe my fingerprints. And this is a paste wax. It's not runny. That made the wood come out really nice. I'm just glad my camera's working now. My phone has been kind of an ass lately. There's the other side. That looks pretty darn good. Now, I don't have enough of a beard to use it on my beard, so I can't talk from a beard standpoint, but I will say it looks good on the tools. Then I'll go ahead and I'll put this on the blade as well. Now, this is a stainless steel Damascus, which means they use 2 types of stainless steel to create the Damascus pattern, as opposed to what they usually they'll use a combination of a stainless and a high carbon steel for Damascus. But that would make this blade a lot more stain resistant than your typical Damascus steel. But I'm going to go ahead and put some wax on it anyway. I don't know if it'll make the pattern come out anymore. But yeah, it looks pretty good. In some cases, it does seem like it made the pattern come out a little bit more. Does make a pretty good difference in terms of how the wood looks. I will say that for sure. This kind of needed it. So not bad. I can throw that cap away. I'm just gonna. The hell did I just do? There it is. I just wish I knew what I did with my God dang it. With my other paste wax. My wicked wax. I had like a large 2-ounce tin of that stuff. I don't know if you can use that. I don't know if you can use that for leather. I'll have to see. That might be something I'll have to look into. Let me throw this away. Ow. But that's what I use to protect my knives from rust. Aside from also, I keep them in case if I have some displays that are open. I actually only have, well, no, I should say some. I have one display that's open, like an open air display, and that has a bunch of fixed blades sitting on it, like that one you just saw. This one here is like an open air display. Otherwise, I also keep my knives in cases, or if I don't have an enclosed display or case to put them in, I literally just leave them in a box until I can get like another case or display to put them in, which I'm currently shopping around and looking for, because I prefer to have at least those knives that I'm willing to use. Like if it's something that I have strictly for my collection, I try to find a display for it. If it's something that I like to actually take out and use every now and then I actively look for a hard case I can put in it. There, it rolled off too. Good grief.
There. Oh, good God, I can't even put it in the camera. Wicked wax. I knew I was going to find it sooner or later. But yeah, this one's a 2-ounce tin. I had a smaller tin that wet somewhere. Don't know where it's at. But I use this primarily because I just happen to have a lot of it. Texas blade butter. I think I got this to get into into some type of drawing. But it's great stuff. Very comparable to Wicked Wax, except this one they added clove to make it antimicrobial, which I think is even better if you're using your knife for food. I don't know if Wicked Wax is in any way antimicrobial, but it is 100% food safe. Both of these are 100% food safe. I just have to ask Redbeard if his is food safe or not before I use it on anything else. You keep most of yours in a box? Yeah, I keep most of mine in their original boxes unless I have a case to put them in. Like I have one case that's dedicated to case knives or traditional knives. And my intention is to find a display for a lot of my case knives, but I have them in here because these are knives. Well, not all of these, but some of these knives are knives that I'll pull out on and use. Some of them are. There's a lot of some of my case knives there. So this just makes it easy for me to just grab and go. And I also have a lot of case knives sitting in leather slips. It's sitting on my desk, ready to go. I have literally like, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It's like 23 slips. And she's just sitting on my desk. It's I joke when I'm on my my video game channel that I have this massive mouse pad, but I only have access to about a 5x7 section of it because it's otherwise covered with knives and knife slips. So I run into problems when playing games. But otherwise, yeah, a lot of my case knives are actually in a shoebox, which is overflowing. Until I can get more ways to store them. And I've got cases. Other things that I like to use when I'm carrying knives around, or like, for example, if I'm carrying a few but I don't want to bring a full case, but somebody's curious about seeing some of my knives, like, you know, getting together with friends and stuff like that, and they're asking, hey, bring some stuff we want to see, I'll get something like this knife roll. This one carries, I believe, 7 knives. Now, this is like a heavy canvas roll. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, 6 knives. Okay. And slightly varying sizes in the pockets. This one just happens to have my Higanakamis and a couple of Opinels. So I use rolls like this to carry a bunch without having to lug around a large case. You don't know how you... part of the thing is, like I said, I don't collect for monetary reasons. I don't collect to resell. That's what I should say. I might resell some of my knives if I end up in like dire financial straits, but that's not my initial intention. So I don't really care about the boxes so much, other than them being a place to store them if I have nowhere else to put them. Otherwise, preferably, I would just take all of them out and then put them in a case or something. And then, like I said, I'll keep a case strictly for knives that I plan on using. And again, I like to use the knives that I have with some exceptions. Okay, like this knife I won't carry a lot with me because this is a limited edition PB&J version of the Kershaw Blur. As far as I know, they might still be available, but they are limited. So it's not something that I'll probably carry around with me. This one is an Akaso. Now, this is what I call like an executive's or gentleman's knife because of its styling. It's sleek, it's thin, kind of pricey looking, something that that wouldn't look out of place in, say, somebody's business suit. You know what I mean? It's very stylish. This one's Italian made. Extremely expensive to replace. So again, not something that I would probably carry around with me unless, say, I was going to a wedding and still wanted to keep a knife on me. Then this might come with me. Other examples. This isn't going anywhere because this is a limited edition, so I don't use this. Even though this is a synthetic, it's a squirrel knife. So I don't carry this. That remains to be a collector's thing. I do carry one of these with me every now and then, and even though these are limited, but that's because I bought two of these. So I have one that I keep in pristine condition for my collection. Then I have another that I don't care what happens to because I carry it with me. But like I said, that's because I happen to have two of them. I don't even know if those are still available anymore. But otherwise, I like to try to, if I like a knife, I do like to carry them with me when I can. Knives that I typically carry with me, I've said this before, and I've explained this before. I like to carry one modern styled knife with me, meaning I like to carry something like, say, this Ontario Rat or this Spyderco PM3 or any other modern knife. Like, for example, let me move some knives around so I'm not throwing stuff around. Let me grab my other case. Oh, well, there went that knife roll. Oh, ow. Oh, good God, these are heavy. I need to work out. Ugh. Ow. Like something like, where's one of my other favorite knives? I like carrying this Remet with me. This is a Remet Woodpecker. Just one of my favorite knives to carry with me. Why am I having so much trouble reverse flicking knives today? There we go. I'll carry a modern knife with me, and then I'll also pair it with a traditional knife. And as far as traditional knives go, it could be anything from, like, say, this axe handle here to something like the sow belly here. But I'm always carrying a traditional knife and a modern with me wherever I go. And I have my reasons for doing so. And the traditional knife could be something like this one, or it could be a slip joint, a more modern slip joint like this Kaiser, which is not necessarily traditional, but it's a slip joint knife. And like I might pair something like that together, or something like this. So the reason why I carry a modern knife with me and a traditional knife with me is because I have that whole two is one is none mindset. I like to have a backup. And more often than not, when I'm needing to use my knife to cut a lot of things, usually my traditional or my modern knife will stay in my pocket. And my traditional knife will do most of the work. Okay, so if I'm doing a lot of work, I'm not in a rush to do anything. I can take my time. I'll take out my traditional knife. This will do most of the work. This will do most of the cutting that I do if I'm having to open packages, cut a lot of cordage or things like that. This is generally what I use day to day. And I keep a modern knife with me for those occasions for two reasons. emergencies, and if one of my hands is occupied. So if I'm going throughout doing stuff and I have to use my hand to hold on to something but need to cut it, I only have one hand to use. That's when the modern knife comes out, because most of them can be manipulated with one hand. Also, reason being is because I'm using my traditional knife all the time for day-to-day use. Okay. That keeps my modern knife razor sharp for those moments where I do need an emergency. I don't have to worry about, say, I used my knife all day today, and then all of a sudden I'm in an emergency. I have to cut a seat belt or something like that, and I've dulled it, because I was going nuts with it throughout the day. And now I have a knife that I'm kind of trying to fight to use in an emergency. Okay. So that's the second reason that my traditional knife does most of the work, is it keeps this ready for when I need it quickly and in an emergency. So that's why I carry a modern knife, and that's why I carry a traditional knife together all the time. And if I'm carrying a traditional knife, I usually have this one in the pocket, clipped to my pocket, and then I'll have my traditional knife sitting in a leather slip like this that's also in the pocket. But the leather slip just keeps the knife from banging around against anything else that might be in my pocket, and also keeps coins and stuff like that from slipping inside and maybe screwing around with my knife. Not to mention the fact it just makes it safer for me. If I have to dig my hand in there to grab something, I don't have this knife sitting out there. And if for some odd reason it might be slightly cockeyed, I don't have to worry about me slicing my hand open if I just slip my knife in slip my hand in my pocket. I can't talk today. So that's another reason for the leather slips, is just to protect me, everything in my pocket, and protect the knife. So, and that's typically how I carry. And like I said, my traditional knife could be anything from this 3-bladed sow belly to something like this single-bladed crossroads. Typically, my definition for it is something that is a slip joint, non-aggressive looking, because that's a third reason why I carry the two that I completely forgot about. For some odd reason, and I don't know the mindset. Maybe it's because everybody and their grandpa had one. But a lot of times when you pull a knife out like the sow belly or this trapper, any of these traditional knives, even this axe handle, when you take this knife out, people don't really give it too much of a second glance, especially something that like the trappers and stuff. Or even, let me pull this out, or even a Victorinox. A lot of people, you pull this out of your pocket to do something, and nobody gives it a second look. They're just like, oh, neat. Okay, cool. Because they're not very aggressive looking, I guess. Again, nearly everybody's grandpa had something like this. They grew up around something like this. They saw them as tools. You never saw them as anything else but tools. I remember a time when I could go to school and I could have something like, the sow belly in my pocket. In fact, I remember I would have something like this, like the Victorinox, except I think the one I had was a knockoff. Okay. When I went to school, nobody thought anything different. I could, if I was in a class, like say home ec or workshop, some type of shop class, and I needed to cut something real quick, nobody batted an eyelid if I pulled my Victorinox out, or again, knockoff Swiss Army, whatever it was. Nobody batted an eyelid. Nobody thought anything different. Nobody looked at me and nobody looked at me in horror and started pulling alarms or anything. And I wasn't the only one. We didn't think of them. They were tools. They were great things to have in your pocket because, oh my God, I have a blade. I have a Phillips screwdriver if I needed it. I have something I could, scratch onto the wood to mark where I'm cutting if I needed it. Stuff like that. Nobody batted an eyelid. Now you'd be lucky to carry a toothpick on you without somebody freaking out at a school. But that's one of the reasons why I carry a traditional knife, like a traditional knife like this or a Victorinox I'll have in my pocket, because they're kind of unassuming. Nobody looks at them and goes, "Oh my God, what are you planning on doing with that knife?" They just see a tool. Whereas if I pulled something like this out, they're a little bit more aggressive looking. A lot of times somebody will see you pull one of these out and they'll be like, "Whoa, whoa." And I've had somebody say that. Like, I've had this knife out and I was using it for stuff and nobody said a thing. Okay. That same day, I needed to cut something. And I was that same situation where I was holding on to something, but I needed to cut it in half, or I can't even remember exactly what I was doing. I think it was a cable that I was trying to cut. And so I had my hand holding out of the cable because I didn't want to lose the cable, but I needed to cut it. So I pulled my modern knife out, something, not this one in particular, but something that I could, something along these lines. And I do that. And all of a sudden, holy shit, what the hell is that? Like, it turned heads. Okay. That turned heads. And the funny thing is, hold on a second. Let me show you something. This has a 3-inch blade. Perfectly legal for me to carry most places I go. Look at the size of this blade. This is also a 3-inch blade. Nobody batted an eye when I picked this up and was cutting something. People kind of freaked out a little bit and did double takes when I pulled this out to cut something. So it's perception as well. And I'm the type of person that doesn't really like to make waves when I'm out in the public. I would prefer to just go about my business and not be noticed, if you know what I mean. So that's another reason why I carry a traditional knife like this. I don't know if it's because of the looks. It's because of the fact that maybe they see me pulling this knife out and I'm having to open it with two hands. I don't know what it is, but nobody really bats an eye when I have something like that. The perception is different versus pulling something like this out. Or God forbid I pulled something like this out. Now this is actually illegal for me to carry. But oh my God, would people freak if I pulled this out. So that's another reason why I carry a traditional knife, is especially if I'm out where people can see, but I need to be, I need a knife to do whatever I'm doing. Nobody really seems to care when I pull something like this out, whereas people freak out if I pull even something like this rat. If I pull something like that out, people freak. I don't, it's just some weird public perception. Even the pretty ones like this, really pretty, but people would freak. Now most automatics are still illegal in most places. Actually, the funny thing is I can legally carry this, but in order for me to carry this, I have to have a concealed carry license, which is something I have. I have a concealed carry license. Because I have a concealed carry license, it's actually legal for me to carry an automatic, believe it or not. But it still has to be within other regulations. So this is actually legal for me to carry. I have others that are much larger that I would not be able to because they're too big, if you know what I mean. The blade is too long. So I can't carry those. The funny thing is, here's something that's goofy. This is legal for me to carry. This might be questionable. This is a sod buster, not a junior. This is a full size sod. much larger blade, and this is a slip joint. But because of its size, this might be more questionable for me to actually carry in my pocket than the automatic. Another example, this, if I wanted to stay within local, regulations and stuff, typically would be too big for me to carry. And this is not an automatic. This is an assisted knife. Technically, this might be too big for me to carry because a regular size trapper has a blade of just over 3 inches. Now, it might be different because this is a slip joint and not a locking blade, so there might be some leeway given to that. Again, check your local laws because they're going to vary from state to state, county to county, city to city, country to country. I'm not an expert in every law out there, but I try to keep an eye on the local laws for any changes and stuff, so I stay within the law. Again, I just don't need the trouble. Now, do I expect to get stopped by any cops or anything like that? No, I'm not doing anything that... Hopefully, I'm not doing anything that would get me stopped by the police. But God forbid, for whatever reason, if I do, I don't want to give them any other reason to slap anything else on me. So, yeah, I carry blades within a certain length. I carry blades with a certain license. And I for example... as much as I love this and it is legal for me to carry, I simply don't carry it because perception is still another thing within the law. If they perceive that you might use it on somebody, that can get you in trouble. Simply saying, and I've said this before, and because I was talking with some people, and where I live, intent is actually in the law, the word intent. So your intent to carry matters, at least where I'm at. Now, again, I'm not a legal expert, so this is just how I'm interpreting it. Again, check your own local laws and regulations. But I was talking with some friends, and intent is in the letter of the law where I happen to be. So what that means, or what we perceive it to mean, is it matters what the police think you intend to use it for. So, as strange as this sounds, if I were carrying, this knife, perfectly legal for me to carry, it's 3 inches, which puts it within certain regulations. If for whatever reason, say I get stopped by a police officer and he happens to notice I'm carrying a knife and he asks to see the knife. Okay. So what are you using this knife for? Now, if I were to go and say, oh, I carry the knife for self-defense in case somebody attacks me, that technically could be seen as intent to use it on someone. You're carrying a knife because you intend to defend yourself if you get attacked and use the knife on somebody. That could be seen as intent to use it as a weapon. That could actually get me in trouble, perceivably, from what I've been told. Okay, and I can kind of see it. I can kind of understand that. So as far as now. And I'm telling the truth. I carry stuff like this because I use it as a tool, and I also happen to be a knife collector. So I carry interesting knives with me because I collect knives. I have a variety of knives. I have nearly 500 knives in my collection. I can go an entire year carrying a different knife every day and not have the same knife on me. But will I ever say I'm going to use it for self-defense? No. It's a tool. And I carry it because it's a tool, and also because I happen to collect knives. I'm a knife collector. So there you go. And there's some truth to that because I have a concealed carry license. If I'm going to protect myself, I've got something else that I fully plan on using to protect myself. I'm not going to count on my knives. I have a concealed carry for a firearm. So if I'm going to protect myself, that's That's more than likely what I'm going to use. So yeah, things like that matter. At least as far as I understand, things like that matter. Again, I'm not a legal expert. Check with your, local laws. If you have an attorney, discuss it with them. I always say that because I don't want somebody, taking what I have for granted wherever they might live somewhere entirely different, and their laws could be completely different. Keep that in mind. So that's why I say that all the time. But yeah, that's why I carry a modern knife and a traditional knife with me. The modern knife generally stays well hidden and only for emergencies if I need it. The traditional, whether it be whether it be this, those do most of the work. Those are what people would usually see if they ask, hey, I need you to cut this, or I need a knife, can I borrow one? All right, fine, here you go. And I'll hand them my traditional. And that's another reason why I carry a few knives, is because in the event that somebody's like, hey, I need something to cut this real quick, could I borrow a knife? Sure, I'll hand them this. I'll hand him one of my traditionals. I'll hand him my Victorinox. There you go. Have at it. Cut what you need to cut. I'm not going to give him this. This is mine. I don't want them doing. I don't want them borrowing a knife only to look and find out they're trying to pry open a can with my Demco. That, first of all, that's going to get a knock on the head. Like, what are you doing? Get a screwdriver. What are you doing with my knife? So I'm not going to give them my modern knife. So, just to turn around and see them trying to open up a paint can. I'd be irritated if they were trying to open up a paint can with my traditional knife as well. But I guess I won't feel as angry if I lost my traditional, because I have quite a few of those. They're easier for me to replace. You have a coating on your knife, you don't like to damage them. I use my knives. I understand if you use your knives, they're going to get scratched. It's going to happen. If I don't want a particular knife to get scratched or get damaged, I don't carry it. And that's entirely up to you. I have knives that I never carry, because for that reason, I don't want anything to happen to them, because I can't replace them. So I do have knives like that, but I do have a lot of knives I do like to enjoy carrying. I like to get knives that I can carry and stuff like that if I can. I'm trying to stray away from collecting strictly collectibles. Or how do I put this? I'm trying to stray away from collecting stuff that are one-offs that I can't replace, even though I still do now and then. I can't help it sometimes. You get that limited edition knife that looks really cool and, fancy bells and whistles and looks super unique. Yeah. Sometimes I just really, really, really want it. But I'm trying not to do that as much as I used to, because, then they sit in my case. They make great conversation pieces, and I love to share that stuff. But I can't carry it around because I'm afraid something's going to happen to it. So I'm trying not to get as many of those as I used to, because I've got a lot of those already. And I would prefer to be able to carry those knives around with me, because then I can share them with people. And it can be like, look what I got. And not have to worry about something happening to it. At the very least, whenever that happens, like whenever my daughter and family end up taking my collection, it'll happen someday. They can do whatever they want with it. That'll be their decision. That's the way I am. In fact, if anything, they'll probably be able to make some money off this if they really need it. But because I do have some stuff that has gone up in price since I got it. Oddly enough, the PB&Js are crazy. They're almost the PB&Js from Case and SMKW are almost silly, but they're pretty. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Hey, thank you for the subscribe. Really appreciate it. Any other questions? Today's a thing of questions. I've kind of derailed myself a number of times. Tell you what, let me grab more coffee because I'm thirsty as hell. Let me grab more coffee real quick. Think of some questions, and we'll share. We'll learn all that fun stuff. So be right back real quick. Coffee was older than I thought. I had to throw it in the microwave. I'm back. Coffee. Yay. It's pretty much what makes up all my blood. Dawn, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Marco, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream as well. So we're just having a Saturday knife chat. Didn't get to hold one last week because I didn't have anything new and I was busy as hell and it's been a rough kind of few weeks. But I just like to hold these knife chats on Saturdays because I like talking to people that have a similar interest, that like to collect knives, and I like to share and answer questions, and this is how I learn stuff like that. So we were just talking about like what do you guys have in your pocket right now? What's your daily carry for today? I forgot to ask that today. Oh God, coffee. What's in your pocket right the hell now? If you want to know what was in my pocket today, I can tell you actually that already. It wasn't that one. It was the Rat 2. This is the Rat 1.5, so very similar to this one. I had the Rat 2 in my pocket, which is an AUS 8 steel blade. This one's a Magna Cut 1.5, but this was in my pocket today, and I was carrying this here, which is a Case bright green Gator Jig axe handle, except I toasted this myself. Actually, I toasted this just a couple of weeks ago live on stream. So I customized this with a torch and burnt this one. And this was also in my pocket because I was just explaining earlier that I carry a traditional knife with me and a modern knife with me whenever I go out. So I always have two knives on me, one traditional, one modern. So these two right here were in my pocket today. That's what my carry was today. I rotate what I carry pretty often. I've got so many knives in my collection that I kind of will just sort of grab a random two. I'm at the point sometimes. Has anybody done this? Do you guys have enough knives where you'll sit there and stare at your knives and try to match them? Like I've actually spent like 15, 20 minutes looking at my cases, going, I'll grab a knife and I'll be like, I'll grab, say, this knife, and I'll be like, now I have to find a traditional knife that matches this one. So I'll carry matching knives. I might even try to pair it up with my freaking outfit, for crying out loud. If I'm wearing a lot of red, maybe I'll grab a red knife or something. You have, Jeff, you're carrying your German eye brand. Awesome. Man, that German eye, absolutely gorgeous knife. Where the hell is mine? I have one German eye brand. That's this one here. This is a wood scaled Workman's or Sodbuster Jr. styled German eye brand. This knife is gorgeous. I love the wood on this. A single edge or single blade, hard carbon steel. This one is also, I have waxed, so the blade is a little duller because of the paste wax that's on there. And I love this knife. Freaking awesome knife. That's my only German eye brand that I have, though. Unfortunately, I need more. Sebald, you have your Tenable Fenrir. Ooh, those are nice. The with the rose gold coating. Oh, that's pretty. I know exactly which one you're talking about. That's an awesome one. You don't know. You don't want to damage that one, though. So it's because it's the nice rose color. You'll have to get another Tenable. That's the only way. Absolutely. Vosteed Raccoon. But the Bowie version. Your clothes have to match your knife. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not the only one that does that every now and then. The Vosteed Raccoon with the Bowie. Now, this is not the Bowie version. This is my Vosteed Raccoon. I got the drop point version. Awesome blade. Just a little bigger than I normally. I've still carried this. Don't get me wrong. I'll sometimes still carry a bigger knife. But usually I try to stick around 3 inches or less. So my favorite carry is actually the Porcupine. I love my Porcupine. And like it so much that I got the, where are you? Oh, these are so nice. I got the titanium slim version, which I think are absolutely excellent. My only gripe about the titanium slim, I love this knife. I just wish it had the thumb hole like the other Raccoon did. But I love this thing. Absolutely sweet knife. Titanium scales. So thin in comparison. Like, holy crap. And it doesn't look like much of a difference until you hold it. It's kind of crazy. But I want to get another one of these. I think they have a. This one is this is the 154 CM version. I believe they have. I'd like to say they have an S90 version that I'd love to get in the future. I really, really want one. Hopefully, eventually, I will. But love the raccoons, the Vosteed raccoons, or no, I'm sorry, the Vosteed porcupine. Well, raccoons also. The Vosteed porcupine's one of my favorite everyday carries. I still carry that porcupine a lot. Another one of my favorites from Vosteed, but I don't carry it very often because it's one of those a little bit more expensive, the Hedgehog. But I love this one because again, it's that blade profile. I love the sheep's foot blade profiles, almost cleaver-like blades. Some of my favorites, but I love the top liner locks on these. Those are just a lot more expensive. So I still carry it, just not as often. But awesome knives. You got other German knives as well. You've got to get on my Discord. I'd love to see some photos of those. I do have a Discord. Do I have the link? I know my description got all wonky. So do I have a link to my Discord down there? Good grief. Let me check. Because my links disappeared. Now I'm wondering if my other links are in there. Oh my God, I don't have my Discord. I have my other channel, but my Discord is missing. Good grief! What happened to my descriptions? My descriptions got all wonky. Whatnot. Yeah, I seem to have lost my Discord. Let me get a link to my Discord. I have to fix. Apparently, my descriptions got all messed up. Now I've got to figure out a way to. We've got to figure out a way to fix these. Let's see here. Let's do this. No expiration. And generate a link. And I'm just going to pin it here for now. That's my link to the Discord. Oh, I should probably say that's my Discord. Hold on a second. Join my Discord. Oh my God. There we go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pin that so you guys have it. But if you ever want to share photos of your knives and stuff like that, hit my Discord up. Because I'd love to see new knives and stuff like that. It's how I learn about stuff that I haven't seen. It's probably bad for my wallet. It's probably very bad for my wallet, but I still like to see them. And I do have quite a few pictures of my knives in there. I also have an Instagram where I post a lot of photos. My Instagram is somewhere. Crap, damn it! Like I said, it's been a busy last few weeks. I'll have to fix the description later. But yeah, join the Discord. There we go. Why is that pin so weird? I have to fix my YouTube. You're being weird. Stop being weird, YouTube. You have Mercury. I want to take a look at one of those Mercury knives. Some of those Mercury knives are really cool looking. And I just haven't jumped on them yet. Hopefully soon. I know Chasing Blades has a couple. Chasing Blades is a seller on Whatnot, and I do a lot of business with them. And they sell. I get most of my traditional knives from them. In fact, a lot of the case knives that you see here, like this one here, there were some other case knives that were on the table. A lot of my case knives I get from Chasing Blades. I get stuff from Chasing Blades, RL Simp, Going Gear, and Blade City are the four that I do the most business with. There are a few other sellers, but predominantly Chasing Blades. I'm almost always in their show. But they have some great stuff. Oh, you're looking for the Vosteed Parallel coming. What's the Vosteed Parallel? Oh, you got me curious. Parallel. Vosteed Parallel. What do you look like? Show me. Where's Vosteed's website? Ooh. Oh, okay. I've seen those. Okay, not a bad knife. And not a bad price for this. A little on the expensive side, but you're getting titanium scales, S35VN steel blade, crossbar lock. My only thing, and again, this is just my personal preference. No doubt, I love Vosteed, so no doubt that's a great knife. I just admit I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm kind of been sort of tired of the crossbar thing. Crossbar locks, nice strong locks. They're very solid locking systems. I just I have so many crossbar lock knives that I'm kind of like I want to see different locking systems. I've exhausted. I've sort of exhausted my want for crossbar locks. Not. I don't have anything against them. It's just everybody's got so many different versions of a crossbar lock that I just want to see new stuff. Like for example, when I got my first compression lock, which I think the compression locks are awesome. Vosteed's top liner lock, which is a version of the compression lock, freaking awesome stuff. I love seeing things like that, stuff that is new. The shark lock from Demco, even things like what's another lock? I have a Demco Scorpion lock. I like interesting locks, and I have nothing against crossbar locks. It's just there's so many of them out there, and I have so many crossbar locks. I just want to see some different stuff. Throat Goat, how you doing? If you ever get a Vosteed, it's definitely going to be a plain Jane Stonewashed Xeno. Vosteed Xeno? Hold on. Let me look. Yeah, okay, see, that one has a Vancor lock. Ooh. Ow! The premium ones are pricey. Do they have a less expensive version? That's a little more than I'd like to pay. I have nothing against it. It's just I have a ceiling of like around 300. I try not to go over 300. I have knives that retail for over 300, but usually what I'll do is I look for I look for a good deal. I admit I tend to be kind of snipey on I'll either be snipey on whatnot, or I try to work deals out on whatnot. And I've been lucky where I've gotten some knives for a very good discount. I'm actually still looking. I want to get a PSYOP. I still haven't gotten a PSYOP, and I really, really want one of the 2.99 inch PSYOPs. Preferably one of those. Oh, they have a glow in the dark Micarta. Are you kidding me? Really? Did I have to see that one? No. Am I seeing it? Yes. Is my wallet really irritated with me right now? Probably. Son of a bitch. Great. I had to find a glow in the dark side. No. I gotta stop buying knives during my lives. You guys have done that to me a number of times, where it's like, he was like, oh, have you seen this knife? Oh, that's cool. Damn it. And next thing you know, I bought it. ARG and stuff. There's another one, full titanium, forgot the name. I know there's Vosteed just has great stuff. I'm just going to say that. The Xeno looks freaking cool. They have one for exactly $299. Stop. Shut it. It's bad enough I still want to get a Porcupine S90V TI Slim. I still want the S90V version. I still want a PSYOP. And oh my God, Ramet came out with another one. I think it's called the Orca. It's too much. Hold on a second. I heard something. Somebody's calling my name. Be right back. Let me go check with them real quick. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody needed help with the TV. Had to go fix something real quick. Well, okay. Where did I miss out? You want a PSYOP as well? Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, the PSYOP is definitely on my list. The parallel looks cool. I just wish, like I said, nothing against the crossbar lock. I just have so many crossbar lock knives. I want something different. Another top liner lock I wouldn't mind. You try to watch who my favorite custom makers use OEM wise, and they gravitate towards that company or towards Vosteed. They tend to use the best ones. Oh, that's cool. Vosteed's definitely really good. I collect a lot of Remet. I like Vosteed, Remet, Concept. Remet seems to be getting a lot of my business lately. I've been really liking Remet. The full TI PSYOP. That's what it was. I kind of like the Micarta ones. I just like the looks. Personally, I mean, they have the glow in the dark one, which I'm staring at now. Thanks a lot for putting that in my view. The Norplex Ultrax Micarta is not bad looking. That's pretty cool looking, except I think they're sold out on that one. But the Micarta handles are pretty cool looking. I like those. They have a PSYOP, except the only thing with the PSYOP that's the it looks like it has like some goofy looking pattern to it. A current Micarta, I think they're sold out on that, but it's 3.32. I want to go with the 2.99 inch ones. Again, because I'm trying to stay at around 3 inches or less, but that's me. So, Vosteed, great company. I heard Migaron is doing a lot of cool stuff. I got to check out Migaron too. I have a few Migaron knives, but I've heard they've been coming out some really nice stuff lately that I haven't checked out yet. What was their latest thing? Civivis. I have a lot of Civivis. I used to collect a lot of Civivis. The Hover, that's a Migaron. Solora. They look cool. My only question is I'm not sure what the 19C27 blades are. I'll take a look at that composition. But at the very least, I don't recall them being very expensive. How much are those? Like $60. So 19C27 with a stonewash blade, aluminum, lacquer handles, button liner lock, which I like. I'm just not familiar with a 19C27 blade. But they're not very expensive, which is great. They look fantastic. So those are some that I'm looking into. They also have been coming out with some M390 steel blades. You think Civivi's back working with designers? Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. Migaron's been getting more and more popular. I don't know if that's who you're talking about, Michael. Oh, no, that is who you're talking. Yeah, Migaron's very good. But they have been raising their prices a little bit. That's true. But honestly, it's because they've been making some waves. And not only that, but I think some of the older models, they were like Taylor. I forgot his name. He runs the Steel Hardness Lab website, where it kind of like independently test the hardness of steels from different manufacturers. Because of them, Migaron's been working hard to increase the quality of their knife steel, in the way they treat their steel. So they're putting out even better steel. But because of that, it does raise costs a little bit. Thankfully, they're still pretty low though in comparison to a lot of other makers out there. They're still really well priced. Yeah, the HRC, their heat treatments and stuff like that. Migaron's making an active effort to better their treatment process, which is awesome. It's awesome. So it's something I like to hear. I have a couple. I have some early Migrons. I don't have too many of them. I also realize I have so many knives out here right now. Let me put some of these away before I accidentally hurt myself. Oh my God, where did this? I took this knife out from a. This is another thing with having these cases. I forgot where this knife was sitting in. This knife was somewhere. I don't know where it went. I take knives out and I forget where I put them. Or, God dang it. I think. I don't know where you went. Crap, damn it. Okay, well, I guess I'm putting it that in slot for now. And I gotta put some of these off to the side. I got so many knives out. There we go. That can go in there. Ugh. Just so I can clear space. So if we want to show some new knives or other knives, I don't run into trouble here. That can go there. This can go there. That can go over here. Okay. That's a little better. Picasso. This. All right. So that's some of my knives put away. We have had so many choices in knives as of late. It's been pretty crazy. You're never going to be left for wanting, that's for sure. Jeff, have I seen the Spec Ops Cobra Tech knife and Emperor? That I don't think I have. I know I've seen a lot of new Cobra Tech from Chasing Blades, but there's a few that I'd love to snag, but I'll be even more poor than I currently am now. Hold on a second. Okay. Had to reach. Yeah, there's a lot of quality and choice. Be careful still. There are still a lot of still a lot of counterfeits out there. I know that the guys that were doing Steel Hardness Lab, they're actually actively even taking in counterfeit knives and testing them to show you, basically to show how bad some of that stuff can be. Really. Like, there's knives. I used to get a few knives on Amazon. I very rarely purchase knives on Amazon anymore. I buy specifically from people I know I can trust, like, Chasing Blades, Going Gear, Blade City, Knife Center is another place I buy a lot of knives from. Places like that. Because I've had issues where I've had problems with Amazon, so I really don't buy knives from Amazon. I might still take a look at something now and then in a blue moon, but I try to steer away from it because for some odd reason Amazon there's a lot of counterfeits floating around over there, and it's something I don't want to deal with. So, what would you like to see, Sebald? I don't have every. I wish I could say I have every manufacturer. I don't have it. Believe me, I have. There's some knives out there that are like holy grails to me, like a Hinder, for example. I'd love something like that. Or what else is on my list as a grail? I can't remember all my names. Ooh, Kershaw sale on Knife Center. Don't show me that either. I didn't really need to know. Oh, to show that the counterfeit, yeah, and they're either not treated well, and they can't even confirm really like the knife steel. You could be getting a really horrible knife steel, like pot steel or something. So they're actively taking them in and testing them, which it's really cool to see. Oh, that's something that's coming up next week. Jack Wolf knives. If you guys haven't heard, Jack Wolf makes some great traditional styled knives. But a lot of them tend to be around I think the cheapest Jack Wolf is like around like 160, 170. And a lot of their knives can run upwards of, between $300 and $400. But they recently dropped just earlier this week. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. They just dropped their new Gateway Series Stockman. It's a single-bladed knife shaped roughly like a case Stockman, for the handle. But it's a Jack Wolf's Gateway knife, which means those are their least expensive knives. And they have 4 styles of their Jack Wolf's Gateway knives. I'm looking right now at Knife Center, and they range between $69.99 and $79.99, depending on the handle material. Otherwise, they're 14C28 end steel, which is great. I like 14C28 end steel, perfectly fine steel. But their Gateway knives dropped, and I am showing they are still in stock. So if you're looking for a Jack Wolf knife, check out the Gateway series. I'm not sponsored by them. I myself picked up 2. They're coming in next week. So hopefully I will do an unboxing next week on Saturday, and maybe a couple videos throughout the week. But if you've been looking into getting a Jack Wolf traditional style knife, now's your chance if you don't want to spend a ton of money. Hey, my turn. I can get you guys to spend money. I already bought one. So you can't get me on this one this time. Yeah, I'm looking at Knife Center. I know they're probably out in other websites as well. I don't know personally. I like to go to Knife Center for a lot of my stuff if I'm not on a Whatnot show. I'm either on Whatnot or I'm on Knife Center. So go check it out. Again, between $70 and $80 depending on the style. The most expensive one that I'm looking at is a what do they have for that? It's a watermelon sugar camo carbon scale. There's a mouthful. You have a 14C28 end steel 3.13 inch satin clip point blade with stainless steel handles and the watermelon sugar camo carbon scales. That one is the most expensive one at $80, currently still in stock. They have also I think that's a micarta. They have a green canvas micarta, which is about $70. That's their cheapest. They have a root beer kieranite scale, which is actually kind of interesting that they're using kieranite. And they have is that a blue bone? Yeah, smooth blue bone scale for $70. So not bad. I kind of want the blue bone now. I didn't get the blue bone one. Now I kind of want it. Damn it. Now stop looking. Jack Wolf knives can be really, really expensive, but their Gateway knives are like they come out with these Gateway knives, and they usually sell out pretty quick. Or at the very least, they don't last very long. They tend to go away pretty quick, and I don't know how limited they are, because they had other Gateway knives, but they're really, I don't know if they're still making them and they just keep selling out or what. But I've been waiting for these new ones to come out because I've missed my chance on those other Gateways. So was really excited when those came out, and I will have those. At least 2 of them, I think, next week, along with a few other knives. I have my monthly knife club is coming in next week. I have the Jack Wolf knives coming in next week, and I have a few other case knives coming in next week, actually from Chasing Blades. Those will be coming in next week as well. I don't think do I have any other moderns coming in? I think the only modern I have coming in is actually from Monthly Knife Club, and I have no idea what that's going to be because it's kind of a surprise. Well, and not kind of a surprise, it's going to be a surprise because I won't know what it is until it gets here. So that'll be fun. That'll be a fun reveal. So Yeah, the Jack Wolf knives. I just wanted to make a point of that because hey, if I can spread the word out, I try. I'm not getting anything from them. I kind of wish I was. I wouldn't mind. But I try to spread the word when I see something new that I like. Other knives that were pretty new. I think didn't Rosecraft come out with some new stuff lately? I thought they did. Rosecraft makes some pretty nice knives lately. Although I have the last knives that have come out from Rosecraft have been D2. I prefer the knives, the new ones that they've been coming out that have been in 14C28 and steel. Mainly because, like I said, I do carry my knives a lot, so I prefer stainless steel. And their last new one apparently came out in D2. I think that was the Cumberland River. Was it the River Coke bottle? I can't remember. I can't remember which one came out. Or was it the Lick Creek? They have some weird names. I think it might have been the Lick Creek. But those last few came in D2, so I haven't grabbed those yet. I've been trying to snap up a lot of these axe handles because I just love these axe handles so much. I'd like to get, there's an orange one on the horizon. I don't know if anybody's got them yet, but they're supposed to have an orange version of the Gator Jig. I think it's going to be a persimmon Gator Jig axe handle. And I'm hoping I can get my hands on two of them because I'd like to have one to keep as is. And then I want to toast the second one how I did the green one. I'd love to try to toast the persimmon one. So I don't know when they're coming out or if they are already out and just hard to get a hold of. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Hopefully soon because I'm going to start getting the itch to burn another knife eventually. Because I haven't done one in a while. I like customizing these things. They're fun. And Case so far is the only ones that I've successfully customized without like feeling really weird afterwards. I don't know what it is. I tried customizing like a Browning knife. And they must have had it sealed with something because, oh my God, I felt funny after that one. Okay. So I completely went off the rails with stuff. But at the same time, I didn't have the biggest plan for this week. I just wanted to hold a Saturday Knife Chat because I didn't hold one the week prior. And I just wanted people to know that I wasn't going to let my channel go. It's just things had to slow down because I had to take care of stuff. You liked watching the burns? I'd love to burn another one. I just don't know what yet. Like right now, the only one I know I would definitely like to burn is the persimmon if I can get my hands on one. I'm also tempted to burn. Actually, I should see if I can get one from Chasing Blades. Hold on, what do they call it? It's a pocket worn, and it's a blue one. Can't remember the name. Jeff, you might know this one. Crap, damn it, where did I have it? Was it the Mediterranean pocket worn? Peach Seed Jig. I want to try to burn one of these. Now, I'm not going to burn this one only because this was a gift for my girlfriend. This was a birthday gift. And so this one won't be burned, but I want to get, I don't know if I want to do a Sodbuster Jr. or get something like one of these in a Trapper. I don't know yet, but I want to burn one of these because believe it or not, Case has, hold on, where's my catalog? I had a Case catalog. And they came out with a new if I can find it. You know what? I don't know what I do with that case. Oh shoot, it might be in my car. I was reading it when I took my girlfriend to a doctor's appointment. I just realized I might have left it in there. one of their collectors club knives is a canoe that they call like a blueberry peach seed jig, and they actually stated it was a like Mediterranean peach seed jig that they toasted, except it's a canoe and it has a special badge, the case collector's badge. So now I kind of want to emulate it. So I want to get one of these Mediterranean blues. I'm just not sure which one, what pattern, whether it be a Sodbuster Jr., a Trapper, or whatever. And I want to try to emulate that blueberry. I think they called it a blueberry pie peach seed jig, because you have the blue and then it added like a nice brown toast to the edges of the canoe, which I thought looked absolutely tasty. So now I want to try it. So we might, if I can get my hands on another of the Mediterranean, because I don't collect Mediterranean blues. So that's really the only Mediterranean blue that I have. I don't think I have another one anyway. I'll have to, you know what? I'll have to check my collection, because that would have been after I stopped. After I stopped updating my spreadsheet. I should have kept that updated. But if I have another Mediterranean blue, maybe I'll give that one a toast. Or if I can get one from Chasing Blades, we'll give that one a toast. Because I thought the blueberry pie thing looked really, really cool. So if I can get one from them, we'll try that. Or if I can get one of them persimmons. Because I think the persimmons would also look really, really cool with a toast. It's just a matter if Chasing Blades can get them. But I like doing that stuff. It's fun. Jeff, if you haven't seen me toast, what I know the last few lives I did, the VODs are still out. You can see me burn. I think I did this. This was the last one I did, was this one. I did a mini trapper of those. Actually, where did I put the mini trapper? I thought I had that out. Apparently I don't. Nope, that's a red axe handle. I don't know what I did with my other mini trapper. There it is. Then I think I did this the week prior. I did this live as well. My last few burns I've done live. So this is the bright green bone gator jig mini trapper. And I thought that came out really well. So there was that. There was that. I did a... I also did a... I think the first one of these that I did was a Barlow, if I remember correctly. And the Barlow came out really nice. Where did I put the Barlow? I don't know where I put the Barlow. I have so many knives on my desk that half the time I can't remember where I put them. No, that's not it. This has got to be it. That's the Barlow. So yeah, these are all the gator jig ones that I've done. Did them live on stream. I just thought they came out really excellent. I'm liking the look. Part of the reason why I like this look is I'm also a fan of the lizard skin. The lizard skin is a collaboration between Case and Shepherd Hills. And hey, Trouble Bunny, how you doing? And the lizard skin is essentially a bright green bone. It's a different jigging, but it's essentially a bright green bone that they toasted. They call it a lizard skin. I've got one actual lizard skin in my collection, but I wanted to try to emulate it since ever since they came out with these bright green gator jigs, and I think they look really, really awesome. But that's me. I like customizing my stuff sometimes. I think the gator jig led to some really cool toast patterns on these, and I can't wait to try the persimmon and try that Mediterranean blue. It's just a matter of getting them. Because whenever I burn something, I like to get two. Because I like to get, like, I have another one of these that's unburnt. I have another one of these that's unburnt. Just so I have one original. The only one I don't have two of is this. I didn't get another Barlow. But I like to have two, and then what I'll do is I'll burn one of them. But I think they came out really well.
In fact, I'm excited to try doing the well, both the persimmon and the Mediterranean. Although, because the Mediterraneans are already out and easier to get, I'll have to talk to Chasing Blades, see what they have in stock, and then snag one. Because I would do this one otherwise, but my girlfriend got me this. I'm going to keep it as is. I don't know if I have another. Do I have another one? I'll have to look. It's buried in a box. If there's another one, it's probably buried in my shoebox. Either way, hopefully I'll have one by next week. I'd like to do another toast. I like doing the customizations live. They're fun to do. And thanks for joining, Trouble Bunny. If you have any other questions, let me know. Do you have a knife in your pocket currently, Trouble Bunny? Let us know what it is. I had this one and then I put it away, but I had my crap, damn it, what do I do with it? Oh, it's down here.
There it is. This is the one I was actually carrying in my pocket, not the 1.5. These were the two knives that I had in my pocket for today. Case axe handle and a Ret Model 2. Oh, and another thing I have in my pocket, because sometimes you guys are interested in the other stuff that I have in my pocket other than knives. My Olight O-Pen Mini green version was also in my pocket. So that's kind of like my pocket dump, sort of. I also had a flashlight, but that's still in my pocket, and I don't want to get up to get it because I don't have my pocket with me right now. It's over across the room. You have a Knife's Lander. Ooh, I still don't have a Knife's Lander. I keep meaning to get one, or not knives, NAFs. Can't even pronounce it right. I keep meaning to get a NAF's Lander because they've been around for a long time. It's just a great all-around knife. I mean, it's just a nice knife. And if I remember correctly, they're not like terribly expensive either. So they're just great inexpensive carries. Like what, 45? If I remember, depending. It depends on the materials. But you can get a D2 for like $45, I think. Yeah, $45. And then they have others with more premium materials. They're going to be a little bit more expensive, but they're not. I mean, they're still pretty nice and not terribly expensive. And a lot of people love them. What did you miss, Jeff? You missed it. I'm not sure what you missed. I'm sorry, I missed what you missed. Ooh, a rainbow trout version. Damn it. I gotta stop. Stop looking at Knife Center. I don't. Last few times I've been at Knife Center, people have gotten me to buy stuff. I need to stop. I already bought stuff. I need to not buy something now. You use the Lander 1, it's very affordable. Yeah, exactly. Very affordable, just a good all-around knife. No, nothing super in terms of bells and whistles, but they're very well made. Nafs is a great designer. It's a great blade profile. And you got the scales, and you updated the scales and the thumb stud. I haven't done much customization. I've been meaning to customize some of my Spyderco, but the problem with a lot of the times, like thinking about getting customized or custom scales for like my Spyderco knives, is they tend to, like, the ones that I like tend to be pretty expensive. And then I get to thinking, do I want new scales or do I just want a whole new knife? And usually getting a whole new knife tends to win out. I say usually, but it has won out because I haven't gotten custom scales yet. So it's won out. It's won out so far, only because of the cost. You beat that knife regularly, and it really needs to even be sharpened. So that's cool. What you said it was a Knife Lander, or it was a Naf's Lander 1? So that would probably be, hold on. Because I think the Lander once even come in various different versions still. Because you have the Lander 3s, you have the Lander 2s, you have the Lander. I know a lot of them come in D2 and D2, great wear resistance, great edge retention. I prefer something a little bit more stainless, but that's just me. Kitty Cosmo Cruise scale. Okay, I gotta stop looking. Crap, damn it. You guys are gonna get me to spend money again. I'm already looking at the damn psyop from Vosteed because I still really want one and I haven't had one yet. Makes me sad. But that's a solid pocket carry. Yeah, and I vary mine. This is just what I had today. Tomorrow, Lord knows, whatever I happen to grab. Yeah, I know, first world problems. But this one I kind of coordinated because I had the green pen. Black goes with everything. So I kind of color coordinated it a little bit. Sorta, kinda. With the green and the black. So yeah, I will color coordinate my shit. Oddly enough. I get weird with it sometimes. I just want to see, like I said before, I just want to see stuff. My biggest thing is not that I hate crossbars. I'm just tired of crossbars. There's so many. And I like crossbars. They're nice. It's just I have so many of them. I want to see new. I want to see innovation. I want to see experimentation. I mean, the new thing, and I'm actually glad for this, the new thing now is like the top liner lock. A lot more companies are coming out with top liner lock knives. Like Vosteed is the one that sort of brought them to the limelight. And it got to the point of where even Spyderco had to follow suit. They came out with the Sage 6, which is a button-activated compression lock, which is what a top liner lock essentially is about. Is a compression lock of sorts. And more and more companies are starting to do that. Like I've been seeing a lot of Kaiser's coming out with top liner locks. I've seen a lot of I think even Civivi came out with a few. I'm trying to remember if I've seen any models from them. It's been a little while. But that's something I like to see. I liked seeing stuff like Concept with their Hazard, and it's not the most. I mean, it's just kind of a screwy lock, but it's different. I like it. If you hold on, let me pull the Hazard out because I'm sitting here talking about the Hazard and I don't even have it out. Where are you? Their Bally lock. But that's stuff that I want to see because it's new. People are trying to think outside the box, and there it is. Like, it's not the easiest to use lock. God, my phone's actually working wonders today. But it's interesting. It's different. It's nice. Oh, you missed the burning. Yeah. My videos are still up, so you can catch them. You can rewatch them. If you want to see a particular knife getting burned. Like I said, last few weeks, not last week, but the week before, and stuff, I've been doing the gator jigs. I've done other knives as well. But every chance I get, if I have a knife that I attempted to burn, I'll do it live so you guys can see the actual process. It's fun to do. It's easy to do. The biggest thing when it comes to toasting a knife is patience, because you don't want to do it too quickly. You have to. I toast it to a certain temperature because you have to be careful of how high the temps get. You don't want to crack the bone or anything like that. And then you have to let it cool gradually. You don't want to cool it too fast, otherwise you risk cracking the bone. Oh, coffee. Sorry about that.
But yeah, I gotta talk. Hopefully, I can get either I have another Mediterranean blue somewhere in my collection, or I'll have to order one from Chasing Blades. If I can get a Mediterranean blue, we'll do a toast next week. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let me look and see if I'm not going to do one today because I'm not going to have time. Because it's going to take it takes a bit, and I normally end my stream here at about like 6 o'clock. Because we're like 5:12. But let me look at my collection. Oh, we were talking about the hazard lock. Yeah, but locks like this, different, innovative, just really cool. I just want to see more stuff like that. Ugh. All right, let me move some of this stuff out of the way because I need to look at my collection. Oh my god, there's so many things. Do I have room in here? Nope, 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 nope. Still nope. I thought I had empties. There it is. Oop. Had to put the knife somewhere. Move these off to the side. Move. Oh god, carrying too much crap. Let me close this case real quick. My shoebox of case. We're gonna see if I have another Mediterranean blue. Let me see if I've got one. I don't know if I do. Oh no, I do. Well, shit. I didn't realize I did have a couple. I do have some Mediterranean blues. This one is a rust lock, and this one is a mini trapper. Oops. I probably won't do the rust lock. Let's see how this one looks. Ooh. We might have a candidate. The only thing is I'll want to get a second one. So that way I have one that's pristine. But this might very well... Now let's see what the rust lock looks like. That could be a good candidate for a toasting. Are these the only two other ones that I have? Sky blue, old red bone, buffalo horn, blue sycamore. Nope, can't burn wood. Oh, wait a second. Really? What's this? Oh, a tiny trapper. Okay, that's the only other... That appears to be the only other Mediterranean blue that I have. Is a tiny trapper and a rust lock. Tiny trapper might be fun, but they're really tiny. It's going to be kind of hard to see. Now here's a rust lock. So really nice bone on these, on both of these. I'm going to see if the only problem is I only have one rust lock and I only have one mini trapper. So I'm going to see if I can get a hold of Chasing Blades and see if they've got maybe a second. I'll probably, if I'm going to do one of these, it'll probably be another mini trapper. I'll see if they have another mini trapper and see if I can't order one from them and hopefully have it by next week. So if I can burn one, I'll probably burn one of these. I don't know if I want to do the rust lock, only because the rust locks are a little bit more expensive, and therefore, trying to just get a second one is just going to be a little bit more of an expense. So we might have something to burn next week. Nice. So that might be pretty neat.
technically, I checked their website. They'll probably let me know if they have one already. Let's put that over there. So I'm going to put these away for now. I don't think I'm going to do the baby trap or the tiny trapper. That's just really too small, I think. I mean, I could burn it. It's just they're so small, it'd be hard to see. So, all right. So we're going to plan. Now, if I can't get a second one in time, I might still go ahead and do this one. I would just prefer to have the second one already on hand. Because the reason being is if I get a second one of these mini trappers, I might look at the second one and go, oh, that might make a better candidate just because of the color, or, you know, maybe the jigging is a little, might look like it might be a little better, etc. There might be these little details that might make the second one a better candidate to burn. If they look exactly alike, then it wouldn't really matter. But I'll just say, regardless of whether I can get one from them next week, I'll just plan to burn at least that one. So I have a customization I can do next week. They have some in stock. Okay, awesome. So if they have a show Monday, there's a chance I could still get it by the end of the week. I'm going to check their store real quick. I know I just want to get a price. I know it'll be less on during an auction. But I could also probably message them and go, hey, hold me one of these. And then I might be able to get a better price. Oops, I can't type worth crap. But thanks for checking. Good to know they have some in stock. I was really thinking about that Kershaw Shuffle for like 20-something bucks last night. They had this tiny Kershaw Shuffle for like, what was it, $26 or something? I can't remember. I was really tempted, though. Yeah, I see the Mini Trapper Pocket Worn Mediterranean Blue Bone. Okay, so they do have another. Do they have any other Mediterraneans, or is that the only one? They have a Slimline Trapper. According to their website, they have anything else? Again, in Mediterranean Blue Bone. I see a Slimline Trapper. I see a Mini Trapper. I see a Corncob Jig Blue Bone Mini Trapper, so that's a different one. Just different jigging. They got the... I'd rather try the Mediterranean Blue. Has a darker blue to it. So if I'm going to go with one of them, it's going to be a Mediterranean Blue. They have another... I think they have another Sodbuster Jr. as well. Another mini. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing Mini Trappers. Awesome. So it looks like they might have a few on hand. Have a good one, Seaball. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. Why is my phone going on? What's going on? Something made it to... Oh, something might be coming early. Monday. That'll be good. I was kind of wondering if they had a full-size trapper, but not seeing... Okay, yeah, I see they have a sod. See if they have more tinies. Rogers Jig Barlow. Okay. Oh, they might have a full-size trapper. I might be more inclined to do a full-size, mainly because it'd be easier to see than a mini trapper. And the full-size is less expensive, I think. So I'm gonna have to ask if they have a full-size Mediterranean and see if I can't snag one from them. My birthday's coming up in August. Maybe we can talk them into that. August 5th, if anybody's wondering. Just saying.
But at the very least, we can do the mini trapper, I think. So
I'll plan on that for next week. I'll plan on toasting another Mediterranean. I'll plan on toasting that Mediterranean blue, and I think that'll be fun. I've got the itch to burn something. That's why I might be a little pyromaniac. I don't know. Do I have any others that I might feasibly burn? I don't know if I do. I've done enough of the green ones. 6.5. Somebody told me I needed to burn an amber bone, and I thought those were kind of sort of burnt already. So I don't know if I want to burn an amber bone. This one's a navy bone. This could be a candidate. This one's an axe handle, though, and I don't have another axe handle. Navy blue bone axe handle. I just want to take a look at this to see if this might be a decent candidate. This could be. I don't know if I want to burn my only navy blue, though. And these tend to be a little bit more expensive than the trappers. So I might stick with the Mediterranean blue to try to do that blueberry pie. Where did I put my cloth? Yeah, I think I'll stick with the Mediterranean. I'm going to see if I can get the full-size one from them. I don't know. Whichever is cheaper. If I can get the full-sized one or the mini trapper, I don't know which one's going to be cheaper. For some odd reason, it looks like the full-size is actually cheaper than the mini. So I'll just ask them which I might be able to get a better deal on. I kind of don't want to bug them during the weekend, though, so I'll wait till... I don't know if they're holding a show Monday or if they're going to wait till Tuesday. It's going to be Tuesday, isn't it? Shoot. Yeah. I'll shoot them a message. Maybe I can... I'll see if I can work with them on an early buy. Maybe. If I'm lucky. I don't want to throw them off their usual thing. Yeah, somebody mentioned burning an amber peach seed. And I thought those already were kind of burnt. What could I do with an amber peach seed jig that would make it look... I mean, suppose if I don't... Do I have an amber bone? To get an example, I don't know if I have an amber. I actually don't know if I have an amber bone. I have an amber bone peach seed jig baby dock. I'm gonna burn that though. Do I have any other amber bones? I don't think I do. At least I'm not seeing it. Crap, damn it. No. I don't think I have another amber bone. Oh, I do have an axe handle. That'll be easier to see what the bone looks like. Somebody said to burn one of these. Except I thought they were already pretty burnt. So I forgot who said that. Somebody mentioned, I can't remember who said that in chat. It was during one of their shows. Yeah, because this is already pretty toasty. I can't imagine what it would... I mean, I could darken the light spots, essentially get rid of the milk, really. but I don't know if I kind of like that milk being there. I don't know what that would accomplish other than making the entire thing like brown. I'd have to see one because I'm having a hard time picturing that one in my head. Like the other ones were easier to picture in my head and kind of imagine what it would look or how it would look. This one I have a harder time imagining. I mean, if it was an entirely brown, like if it just looked like this, I guess, throughout the whole, as opposed to having any of that lighter spot there. I don't know. But they sounded like they were serious about actually toasting one of these guys. I'm just having a hard time seeing it. God, I love these axe handles. These are so nice. I don't know. I guess if I was gifted another one, I don't know if I'd buy another one. I don't know if I'd buy an amber peach seed jig to toast just to see what it's like. I don't know. I like to stick with like the green. It was easier to imagine, mainly because I've seen examples of the lizard skins and I liked how those came out. I saw an example of the Mediterranean blues, which is why I'm willing to do one now. I never had any intention to actually toast a Mediterranean blue until I saw that blueberry cobbler that Case themselves did. But usually that's where I get my, that's where I start getting the itch to do one. Is I'll see them, I'll see somebody that has something similar. Like for example, Shepherd Hills had another collaboration that they did called the Tin Roof, which is essentially a gray bone that they toasted. And so I wanted to do my own, and I did it with a Sodbuster Jr. Now the jigging's not the same, but the just dropped it. The coloring, the gray bone, was about the same, just not the jigging. And I think I did a pretty good approximation of what the Tin Roof looked like, because it was a light toast. It just brought out the ridges on the ridges on the jigging. The only difference really being, I think, I'm trying to remember the jigging that they had on the Tin Roof. It was much tighter than this, but I think I did a pretty good approximation of a Tin Roof. It came out really well in my opinion. Enough that I did like a mini trapper in the same way. I don't know where I put the mini trapper though. Mini trapper's sitting somewhere. It's somewhere in this pile of stuff. Found it. So I did a mini trapper also, same gray bone, toasted to bring out a lot of the ridges. I think they came out pretty well. But yeah, I'll see some example of somebody having done it, and then I'll try to make my own. The only ones that I've done that I haven't seen examples prior, and I just did because I wanted to see what they look like, was like this one, which was a Tequila Sunrise Sodbuster Jr. that I toasted. And I like the way it came out. It's kind of like an autumn coloring now with the dark browns. So I wasn't sure what to call this. Calling it like either like a Tequila Sunset or an autumn bone, except I think Case came out with an actual autumn bone, so maybe I'll just call it the Tequila Sunset. And again, just enough to sort of highlight some of those ridges, give it a little color around the edges. So I might toast it a little bit more. I've been debating. One thing that I've been trying to do is not to overdo it And so what I'll do is I'll toast something, and then I'll leave it, and then kind of like give it some time, and then I'll come back and look at it again, and then I'll decide, do I want to toast it anymore? I'm thinking of toasting it because it's a little light up here. I might want to darken it a little bit. This side's not too bad. Maybe try to hit the ridges a little bit more. We might come back to that one. Because the problem with burning these things is you can burn them as much as you want. The problem is once it's gotten really dark, you can go darker, but you can't go lighter. Once it's burnt to hell, that's it. You're done. So I try to be a little careful, because I've done that before with other knives where I've gone a little too far. Like, I keep this around as an example. Like, this was a white bone, a smooth bone that I toasted. It ended up becoming like an experimental piece. And I don't know, it just got a little weird. It got to the point, I don't know. And again, I don't know if this crack was because I toasted it or if this crack was already there and I just never noticed it until I toasted it. So yeah, I don't know if that was because of me or if it was all just sitting there and didn't come out until I ran the torch over. It doesn't seem to go all the way through the bone, so it's like right at the surface. So I don't know what the deal is with that there. But this is an example of me, like, I kept going and just couldn't stop, and as things started to get a little weird. So I'm trying to keep that whole thing in check. And I keep that as an example to, like, give things some time before I go at it again with a torch. Now I'm sitting here staring at Whatnot, or Chasing Blades Whatnot page. I gotta stop. I've already got 2 knives coming from them, and maybe a third one eventually. So. Okay, so any other questions? Anything you guys want to know, either my collection or just talk about knives, anything you want to share? Feel free and ask. I've got like just under half an hour left. I'd like to end this around 6 because I know my girlfriend gets hungry. I get hungry, and I'll end up needing to cook dinner soon. So happy to ask any questions you guys might have on really anything knife related. I'm not an expert. I'm learning just as anybody else might be, and this is how I learn, by people asking questions and by asking questions myself. So feel free to ask away. I'd like to leave this last hour or so to anybody that's got questions. Well, hell, you can ask questions anytime. I'm going to leave it to just the last hour. I know Jeff's been spending a lot of time on Chasing Blades. You've been getting a lot. Jeff, I need you to adopt me. I'm gonna send the adoption papers over as soon as I get a chance. Ugh. And I want to say thank you to everybody so much. Like I know these last couple of weeks have been rather kind of crazy. I haven't been able to do much with the channel, and I noticed that I'm already up to where were we at? Hold on a second. I'm at 914. You guys are awesome. That's crazy. And I'm just doing this for fun. I enjoy doing this stuff. It's fun to do. I get a chance to meet people, talk to people, and all that. And to see that there's currently like 914 subscribers blows my mind. And I said it before. I've got some. I'm not going to say there's anything like super crazy or expensive in there. But I've been slowly putting together a box of stuff, box of knives and other things that if I'm ever able to get to like 1,000 subscribers and maintain 1,000 subscribers for like a week, I might just go ahead and do a Whatnot show and just do giveaways. Just give away some of that stuff that I'm currently putting in a box. I am currently putting stuff in a box that I would like to give away as a thank you to for getting me there. And I got some random stuff in the box. Some stuff is pretty inexpensive. I got some Imperials in there. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have. I'm not going to have anything super crazy in there. But I've got like Imperials. I've got some Rough Rider in there. What else do I have in here? I've got a Cobra Tech in here. I got a Best Tech in here. I got a Baron Sun. I got a Baron Sun in here. I even have a Savivi in here. So, all knives. I got a few Rough Riders. I'll probably like not only just like maybe bundle a few of these knives and maybe just give a small bundle away. If I can like, maintain like 1,000 subscribers for like a week. I even have, this one's not knife related, but I don't even know how I got a hold of this, but this just might be fun. I might give this away as well. I have grenades. Not real grenades, mind you. I have. Have you ever seen those gel guns? The ones that shoot those guns that shoot the gel BBs? I have a pull the pin and toss gel BB grenade. Actually, this is a set of 2 gel BB grenades, complete with gel BBs. Now, I live in an apartment building. I don't have anybody I can sit there and pelt with. Well, I mean, I could. They'd probably get angry. But I don't really have a use for it. But maybe somebody does, or maybe somebody knows of somebody who wouldn't mind have. I might give this away as well. Because I sure as hell have no place to use it, and I sure as hell don't want to clean it up. So I'll give something like this to somebody in that giveaway. So that's something that's tossed in the box for that. And I also have an extra bag of BBs to go along with it. A large bag of BBs that you soak in water, which is crazy. So I might be giving both of those, like this bag. I'm not going to give them away separate. The grenades and the gel BB pack, I might give that away as well on Whatnot. So, and I'd be using Whatnot because they handle all the logistics and everything. I don't have to worry about the laws. It's all handled through Whatnot. So yeah, if I can get 1,000 subscribers, maintain it for a week, I'll probably do a Whatnot show and just give that stuff away during the Whatnot show. So I just wanted to say thank you, because holy crap, I never thought I'd even get this far. I'm again doing this for fun. It's been a blast, and I've learned a ton just doing this. So thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Hopefully, like I said, things ease up a little bit with work and finances ease up a little bit, that I'll be able to do more, because I know I did a lot the first few months when I was doing this channel. It's kind of petered out a little bit, but I don't want to abandon the channel. I'd like to keep this channel going strong. It's one of the ways I kind of like de-stress at the end of the week, is being able to go over my knife collection, talk to you guys, getting some new knives and stuff like that, and just chatting. It's therapeutic, especially when you have a really, really busy week. It's a fun to do. So thank you guys so much for that. You guys have been absolutely amazing with all your support. Like I said before, if you want to join the Discord, if you want to share some pictures, go check out the Discord. I have the link posted in chat. I'll have to fix the description at some point. I don't know why the description went all wacky. I didn't even realize it. It's been going like that for a few weeks now. I didn't even realize that. But hopefully I can fix things soon. Hopefully I can come out with some new videos, because like even my videos have been suffering a little bit. I haven't been able to put new stuff out. But like I said, I'm expecting some new stuff this week. Trying to come up with other subjects I can do videos about. It's just time tends to be really limited with me. Again, I use this time to de-stress and stuff like that. So hopefully I can pump more stuff out throughout the week, provided work slows down a little bit. So looking forward to that. Need to make a song about your knife. I should.
Well, tell you what, Jeff, send me a message in Whatnot. Tell me what your favorite music genre is. Tell me what your favorite knives are, like your favorite manufacturer. And I don't know. I'll have to figure out some other tidbits, something I can work into some lyrics. Tell me about how many knives you have in your collection or how long you've been collecting, and then send me that info in a message on Whatnot. I'll see what I can do. maybe I'll make another collaborative song between you and Chasing Blades, since you've been I think you've been outpacing me on Chasing Blades. I have to ask them at some point, because they have the information, and I've joked about, like, who spent, which one of the viewers has spent the most money on Chasing Blades, and I don't think they've actually answered, but I'm afraid my name's going to come up. I know there have been some big spenders in the past. I just know I spend a lot of time on Chasing Blades when they have their show. I know I've been absent a bit more than usual this last this last few days, but it's been busy. But my girlfriend's like, I heard that. Shit. God damn it. Really? But I've joked to see who's spent the most over a certain period of time, and I admittedly worry my name's going to be on that list, if not at the top of that list. You might be overtaking me on that, Jeff. Though I've seen some of the purchases you've made. So hopefully you do beat me out on that, so I can show my girlfriend that it isn't me. Oh boy. But any other questions? Because we're near the finish mark of the finish line of the stream today. You guys have been great. I wasn't even sure exactly how things were going to go today, since I haven't gotten any new knives to talk about and stuff. But thank you so much for all the chat and keeping me going. You guys have been excellent, giving me stuff to talk about. So yeah, if there's any other last minute questions you guys want to ask me about my own stuff, or ask me about whatever, I don't care. Let me know. And otherwise, I'm gonna see. I know I'd love to see more live knife stuff. I know there's quite a few people that are active on YouTube, but we don't really run at the same time. And so there have been times I'd love to do a YouTube raid on a live channel, but I don't really see too many on while I'm streaming. I'm going to take a look while we wait and see who might be up and running. But while I'm doing that, let me know if there's any questions you guys have. Otherwise, I'm going to see see if anybody's streaming, if my buttons will work. Come on, buttons. Do your thing. Wait, am I doing the right thing? Gosh darn it. They really need to make rating on YouTube a lot easier. I've mentioned that plenty of times. No knife streams. Kind of a bummer. Is Redbeard on? I'm just gonna start digging around. And see who might be. No. Oh, that's the wrong Redbeard. That's somebody else. Apparently there's a lot of Redbeard. There he is. But I don't see. Last live he had was like 3 months ago. Bummer. Yeah, I don't see too many lives going on. I wish there were more, because I definitely would raid somebody.
But it's funny. I usually just end up missing it. A lot of them. It kind of sucks. Oh well. Okay. Well, if nobody's got any questions or anything, I think we'll end it here for today. Thank you guys again so much for all your support. Like I said, you guys have been like absolutely amazing. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough. Like I said, it's been pretty crazy. Thank you. If you see this again, thank you, Red Beard, for your beard and tool butter. That was an awesome surprise. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chasing Blades, for, I don't know what I'm thanking you for. You're taking all my money. Thank you, Chasing Blades, for making me poor. And yeah, I think we'll plan on doing a customization next week. I'll plan on doing a toast of the Mediterranean blue, because like I said, I got really interested with that blueberry pie or whatever they called it, and I kind of want to try to make my own next week, Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, same time. So I think that's going to be, I don't really have anybody else to raid, so we're going to call it at that. Thank you guys again so much. I will try to be putting out some new videos hopefully this week. Like I said, I'll be having another live next week. If you guys are into video gaming, I also have a video game channel. I stream every night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not sure I think I'm doing a co-op tonight. We're supposed to be playing 7 Days to Die with some friends. So, if you're into that stuff, go check out my video game channel. Link should be in the description. I hope this time. Hold on, let me check. Crap, damn it.
I'm calling Chasing Blades.
No. Girlfriends. I'm calling Chasing Blades. No. Hey, my birthday's coming up in August. Maybe you should call Chasing Blades. Because it's my birthday. Where did I put my description? There it is. Okay, yeah, so the video game link is there. Where did everything else go? Okay, so that's there in case you guys are into video games and stuff like that. Other than that, I think that's about it. Hey, I'm Marco. So yeah, I don't have an ending for this. I really got to work on the opening and ending. I've been working on the video game channel. I haven't been able to do as much for this one, but hopefully things will change next week. Maybe there'll be a new video opening and a new ending for the live stream. Keep your fingers crossed. I know I am. But anyway, thanks again so much for being here and chatting with me and all that fun stuff. And thank you for not making me buy something on this live stream today. Because holy crap. You think you're over? No, don't say it. I don't want to know what my number is. I don't want to know, Jeff. I'm afraid to look. I know what it could be. I don't know if I want to ask Mike from Chasing Blades what it is, or Gary. No, we'll wait till Tuesday. Next time they're on their next show, maybe we'll ask. And maybe we can have them tell us in private. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye! Okay, like I said, I don't have an ending here. I'm just going to click the stop button and it's all just going to end. And bye!